Oh, I think we were muted actually at that time. Ruh-roh. Well, welcome everyone. Woogie Man saying no comments in the match, but I think we're good now.
Yeah, I can hear you. You can hear me, so I think we're all good.
I must have muted it earlier for whatever's sake, but welcome everyone. So as we were saying before, we have Kathleen Stanley, NWPA veteran of the pool Northwest, and Jamie Hunter. Gotta give Jamie Hunter a good speed nickname, because by far the fastest player on this tournament that I've seen so far.
Jamie Speed Racer Hunter, maybe?
Speed Racer Hunter, I like that. Nice.
Yeah, ironic that we can actually predict things sometimes in the commentating booth, because we were both talking when Jamie was playing her match yesterday that she was very quick, and we thought maybe she might actually have tickets to the Mariners game, and it actually turned out she and her partner did have tickets to the game.
That was comical. I love that.
But definitely, she can take her time with this match if she decides, but she is definitely a quick player.
Black is on. It's going to have to spot on the blue, I imagine. She makes this. Oh, tough shot. I think as we saw yesterday, it's going to be a matter of her kind of jump starting and getting a couple of big pots down that are going to kind of boost the confidence, I would say. It's, I think, part of that sort of rhythmic style of play. Very dangerous, those type of players. Once they get into a groove, it's almost like you can't stop them, basically. It's going to be interesting to see how this match goes. Kathleen definitely a lot more tactical, kind of thinks through every shot, very consistent routine.
Oh, that wasn't too thought out well, though. Playing a double into the corner, those are always very tricky. You see more players take doubles into the side pockets, as there's quite a wider opening there. We'll see if Jamie can punish Kathleen for that mistake.
Yeah, and I wonder, I think that could be the pool player in her trying to bank at that ball into the corner.
Because yeah,
Vinit in the chat. Sorry, go ahead.
Those corner pockets definitely in a pool table are a lot more wide open and willing to receive balls than a snooker table. And Woogie Man 007, just stay tuned on the stream, because after this match, we will be showing Bex Kenna and Marianne McConnell. So a Commonwealth battle, as Marianne comes from Canada, and Bex, we know, is a lovely English woman player.
Yeah, and I think we might be getting Marianne into the booth for the next frame here. We'll see. I think we managed to convince her to come on over here, so that'll be pretty cool.
Sounds lovely. So all you in the chat room, if you have any questions for a player, Marianne, who's playing in this tournament, she's on the tour for quite a long time. Had taken a 28-year absence from it, but we're glad that she's back.
Previous world champion, right?
Runner-up, actually. 1984. Runner-up to Mandy Fisher, the woman that runs the whole WWS.
Very cool. Oh, Vinit's in the chat. Hey, Vinit, we have a question for you. Did you happen to take our ball marker by accident yesterday? We're looking for it. Shout out to Vinit. He was helping us referee yesterday. We appreciate all the help. He comes all the way down from Vancouver. We're just looking for it, that's all. Can't find it today.
Wish we had a little replay on that last shot. It seemed that cue ball just had a little funny movement right at the end.
Oh, yeah?
It kind of came back. But no harm, no foul.
Have no fear.
Jamie puts a nice blue in there. But yes, thank you, Vinit, very much, coming all the way down from Vancouver, Canada, to help out refereeing yesterday. Really appreciate his work. And hello to Romil, who runs a great academy down in the state of Arizona.
Yeah, what's up, Romil? How's it going? He was another one of the Americans that came over to Sheffield to watch the World Championships this past year. Luca Purcell, Mark Selby in the finals. Amazing event. Oh, look at this. Oof. I think if that pot goes in, Jamie Hunter might be off to the races. Boogeyman, we have not had many flukers. Dave Burney loves the fluker talk. But I think we might have had one yesterday, from what I remember. So confirmation that Vineet does have the ball marker. Vineet has the ball marker. He says, yeah, that's fine. Realized something sharp in his pocket when he reached the border. Uh-oh. No, not too sharp, hopefully.
Yeah, how are the border guards with that?
Yes, sir, the fluker is the way to go.
In some worlds. But not a great shot there by Jamie. She's left the red onto these tight middle pockets.
Yeah, I think she wanted more to nestle into the pack a little bit. Just hit it maybe a little bit off, or maybe the nap took it a little bit offline from where she expected. Mm-hmm. Kind of touchy, that shot, the roll-up safety.
So just a delicate little screw back here.
Just tiny bit, right?
Yeah, to be onto the pink.
Oh, nice pot.
Kathleen's definitely playing with purpose.
Oh, yeah.
This is an important one for her. Jamie has won her other two matches yesterday 3-0. So that pretty much should confirm her a spot in the knockout round.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to see all the scores and results, head over to snookerscores.net. I just don't have them right in front of me. I'm not too sure what that group stage looks like.
Yeah, maybe we can pull it up later on the stream.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a link in the Facebook and YouTube description if you guys want to check it out. But if you're gonna be winning this match as an underdog, I think this is how you do it. You just make a high value color, then play safe. Make a high value color, play safe. Maybe make a couple high value colors. This is a pretty good attempt. Oh wow! Problem with that shot is she was leaving that red up into the yellow pocket.
True, yeah, there's a couple of sitters right here. I think Jamie will have taken the one into the middle pocket coming up, potentially the brown and green. Ooh, thought about it, though. Wasn't a certainty. Now that red by the yellow pocket makes it a bit bigger for this green.
Yeah, Woogieman 007. Yeah, Mink, I believe, had 3 high breaks, or decent breaks yesterday. I think she had 2 70s. She had a 74 on the stream table. She had an 82, and I heard that she might have had another 70. Mm-hmm. But yeah, definitely playing well. I think the high break from yesterday goes to Anyi. She had a 121, so first century of the tournament.
Yeah, and that's definitely a high mark there, that's for sure. It's going to be tough to beat for the high break, but the tournament is still young.
Watch out, cue ball here. Oof. It's a little bit of a rhythm.
10.
Just don't know if there's a plant here. No, she's
I think it's
probably
safe.
play safe. Yeah, It's tough sometimes from our vantage point. The players have the best view of plant sometimes in around a cluster of reds. A nice safety there by Jamie, getting it close to the bulk cushion. And with a lot of reds scattered around in colors down here in the top end. Just wondering what Kathleen's path back to bulk will be.
Yeah, if she can get to the edge of this pack, the black is kind of in the way, but I don't think that's on. She's going to probably try to cross double this. She might just try to roll up on this ball maybe, or is she going for the pot? Oh, that looks like a pot attempt. And might be tough now because I think this red is on into the left corner pocket, bottom of the pack.
Yeah, a couple of reds open, so this could be just the opportunity that Jamie needs just to get the car out of the garage and get this match running into her favor.
Yeah, I think that's maybe an example of where Kathleen can can take a tactical decision to maybe try to go for the safety at least, or at least leave a tough pot on where you roll up to a red or something, because I'm not sure if the difficulty of that shot was probably not worth the reward that you might have gotten. May not have gotten on the black quite necessarily. It was a pretty tough shot down the rail, especially on these tight pro cut star tables. So
yeah, I think with some of these American players and Canadian players, a lot of them have a pool background, so that's really a more real all in all offensive kind of game, where snooker actually is a defensive term, so the game is called for a defensive move.
And so is fluker, yeah.
That's
a defensive term, yeah.
That's a word in Christian Younger's world. Who knows if we're going to enter that someday.
We're all living in it, all right? That's okay. Woogieman asking, how's Anya on the main stage? She's good enough, but I could say that about a lot of players. Yeah, definitely was playing pretty strong yesterday. I think she kicked off the tournament playing against Jackie, I believe is how we pronounce her name.
Correct. A fellow friend from Hong Kong. They both trained together.
Under the same coach, both teammates. And part of the Hong Kong group. We have our Frances Cho from Seattle here as well. She's also from Hong Kong originally. So that was a pretty good match. And in the end, like we said, she had the century on the second match table yesterday as well. So pretty strong performance so far. I believe we have high break prizes as well in this event. $500 for a high break prize of the tournament. And there's a few finals only prizes. Any centuries that are hit during the finals will be $500 each. And if anybody gets the illustrious 147 in the final, grand prize of $5,000. It's going to be a big event.
Yes, and thank you very much to Jason Miller and Diana Miller over there at winecellars.com that are sprucing up those high break prizes. So we really appreciate your sponsorship and your enthusiasm for this great sport to make this tournament run smoothly. So could take a double here into the middle pocket that she's standing beside. Yeah, Kathleen definitely has the pot making in her arsenal. I think the one little kink in her armor might just be that time where sometimes you just gotta take your medicine and run and hide and play a little safe rather than risk a tricky pot. And sure, if you get it, the break continues, but sometimes if you miss that one, you lead an opening to your opponent.
Yeah, smart on Jamie to put her, up against that bulk cushion earlier, up in the bulk area, but I guess that decision of having tried to cut that red down the rail kind of cost her maybe double-digit points on that break that Jamie got afterwards. So definitely can tighten up maybe some of the decisions or whatnot, and definitely would see pretty strong match from Kathleen. Like I said, I think she was kind of on that pace of potting a big red, going and playing safe, potting a bit red, big color, playing safe. But Jamie Hunter now has the chance, and look at the nap there, took it a little bit offline. It's the problem with those diagonally rolling shots into the middle pockets. They're going to kind of roll, just crosswind, cross the nap, upriver, you might say.
Yeah, that's the one difference from a snooker table to a pool table. The snooker table does have a nap, so it does, as Christian alluded to, sometimes when you're going against it on that kind of trajectory, that it kind of bends a bit, so sometimes you got to take a little into account.
Good attempt. Yeah, I saw there for sure she was setting up for most likely pink, maybe blue. But now I think 2 reds available. First one goes down for Jamie. If she can get on the second red, this could be a double-digit break. Play safe on the last red, most likely, as it's not extremely potable. Wants us to hold up for the blue. What color it is.
No,
No?
she's on a red.
Oh, she's on a red. Sorry. Oh, that was the pink.
Well, that was a nice long pot to
There it is.
keep the break going.
That might be the example of the ignition starting.
Yeah, she's getting into a groove now. That's a nice pink to get onto this red. So. Ooh. Needed that and color ball to get the frame. So 27 in it and 35 on the table. Kathleen could still steal this first frame, playing all 3 frames, or every frame does count. You may not win the match, but if you get 1 frame on board in these 3 frame matches, it could be important, and that could help you get into the knockout phase. The quarterfinals will be going on a little later today. We have this first round of first batch, I should say, of round robin matches, and then the last batch will be coming up at about 12:30 Pacific Daylight Time. It should be a good one to finish out the round robin. Bex Kenna against Marianne McConnell. Marianne McConnell, who's leading that group, she has 6 frames to the good, and Bex has 5. So kind of pretty much who wins that one will gather first. So.
Ooh, yeah, try to twist it with some left spin there. This is brand new cloth, so those type of spin shots don't quite grip the cushion as well as you might think.
We have a good 2-way shot here for Jamie. Try and take it into that right middle, stun it, and just hang around the brown. But Jamie's putting her back.
Putting her back, yeah, it's not a bad call. Pretty high chance of getting a free ball, honestly, on this situation. So,
yeah, it was fortunate that Kathleen didn't give away the free ball. They obviously, for our new fans out there, the free ball is awarded when a player who is in a snooker, the result of their shot leaves their opponent pretty much leaves their opponent that they cannot hit both sides of the object ball. And then when a free ball is awarded, in this situation, any ball could be nominated as the red, and then the player can take that as the red and then move on to a color and then go back to that red. The one thing that you cannot do is use your free ball as a snookering ball, so you can't just roll up to your nominated ball.
So it looks like she's going to be attempting the same type of shot, and I think for this she's going to have to get a lot closer. She's going to have to kind of aim at the brown almost with full side and kind of adjust for the deflection. Yep. She's still hitting a good ball length, at least to the right of those 2 balls, of the brown and red, and I think she needs to get it much closer, but it's going to kind of be a strange mental aiming, because you're essentially aiming at the brown pretty direct on, and just the cue ball squirting off the end of the cue is what's going to give you the correct line.
Says, I wonder if she would try a different kind of route. Looks like maybe she's just looking to come off the side cushion, and does she have the angle to get to the top and come down? They are playing 3 attempts, so this is the final attempt for Kathleen right here.
This looks like it might be a 2 cushion escape. Yep. Oh, and actually had some right spin on it, I think unintentionally. Kind of checked off that rail. That's another thing too with the conversion from pool to snooker. Normally these pool tables that we're playing on, the Rasson, the diamonds, they're going to be playing a lot more short on those kick shots. So I think she was aiming for it to come short essentially on that, but it's actually going to be the opposite on this base because it's brand new cloth. It's actually going to slide a lot more and play a lot longer of a line essentially So whereas instead of her aiming on this side of the side pocket to kind of come at these balls with a shorter bank, she actually needed to aim, I think, on this side of the side pocket because the line was going to come long and maybe even come in behind it and get kind of like a 3-cushion or a 2-cushion escape essentially and come in behind the red. I think that's one of the main differences I've noticed.
I think Kathleen's just a little mindful of the scoreboard. She does need a few snookers if she wants to take this first frame.
I think a stop shot here actually gives her a snooker on the yellow as well. Yeah, but look, she's trying to play that. Problem with playing the snooker now is that you're missing out on the points of the color that you're on. But if you do get maximum snookering points, then it could be worth the attempt. But first attempt, Jamie Hunter makes contact, so unfortunately was unable to maximize the points there.
It's interesting, yeah. Like I think that free ball that Jamie had, that she missed the black, she could have put Kathleen back in from that point,
Mm-hmm.
and then it would be 3 more attempts going in. So
Yeah, exactly. That's the rule we're playing with, right? It's continue on from where it was left.
like as much as there's Jamie had snookered Kathleen, and we saw the 2 attempts. Kind of surprising on that second attempt that Jamie put Kathleen back for her 3rd attempt. But she knows probably better than we know what she's capable of on the table.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Boogeyman 007 saying Joe Perry and Neil Robertson, they recently had a YouTube video kind of explaining the difference between a club table and a pro star table. A lot of that stuff has to do mainly with the cushions and the cloth that's on the table. Obviously, the pockets are going to play differently in terms of size, but when it comes to kicking, they did a pretty good demo of kind of showing you how much shorter the ball will kick. And it was kind of an example where you literally on the star table would kick before the side pocket. On a club table, you actually hit past the side pocket and actually make contact with the same shot. So, very interesting.
And there's a concession there. So Jamie Hunter takes this first frame in a 3-frame match to lead 1-0. And we'll be standby, and we'll come up with frame 2 momentarily with a great special guest. And welcome back to Frame 2 Action. And I hope you guys are excited just like I am, because we have a great special guest. Here she is. She's taken a big absence from the tour. Was playing way back, what was it, from 1980 to 1995?
That'd be pretty close, yeah.
That's Canada's one and only Marianne McConnell. Welcome to the booth, Marianne.
Thanks so much, David.
So you enjoying the tournament so far?
Absolutely. Yeah, this has just been amazing. What a great venue, great sponsors, great hosts.
So you're doing pretty well in this first tournament back in quite a while, because I know you were quite the 8-ball and 9-ball player. You haven't really picked up the snooker cue in quite a while.
Well, I have been playing recreationally at my senior center in Courtenay,
Okay.
British Columbia, but pretty recreationally for snooker. But I have been playing some 8-ball, 9-ball, and 10-ball. I'm playing BCA and CCS and ACS and NWPA, which is Northwest Women's Pool Association.
Great.
So I do travel a little to Washington and Oregon. Yeah.
Wonderful.
There it is. There's the NWPA. Going to Spokane, Washington in a month.
So if we want to go way back in history,
Way back.
yeah, what inspired you to take up this great game of snooker, Marianne?
Oh my God, that's a story. I was a mature student at the University of Guelph in Ontario, and I was 24 years old. And actually, I think it was the second year that I was there at university. And I went into the student union building up on the second floor, and I heard this sound. It was the clicking of the balls, but I didn't know what it was. I opened the door to the games room, and I was just like, oh my goodness. It was like an epiphany. It was like, I'm doing this, and it was like I knew how to do it right away. It just made perfect sense to me. I have no idea really why that happened, but it did. And so I started playing, and then every year Cliff Thorburn used to come and give an exhibition at the University of Guelph. And one year, I think it was in 1978, he said to me, Marianne, there's this Ontario Women's Snooker Championship going on, and if you would come first or second in it, you would qualify for the Canadian Championship. And I'm like, I didn't even know women played competitively, right? I had no idea. Here I am just at university hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was playing a lot of snooker, though. And so I went to this Southern Ontario Women's Championship, and I won. So I won a spot to the Canadian Championships. I went to the Canadian Championships, and I got to the final.
Wow.
I was playing against Natalie Stelmack, and I could hardly make a ball. I just was not psychologically prepared for winning at that point. I was close to as good a player, but pretty novice in terms of serious competition. So it didn't go well in the final.
Okay.
But a few years later, I did finally figure it out. And yeah, so I won a few Canadian snooker championships along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Last one in 1997.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic.
That was a couple of years ago.
Just a few, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we got our friend Stephen Folan up there in Vancouver. Marianne.
Hi, Stephen. Yeah, I'm not doing too badly.
Oh, if you call first place in your group so far, you're pretty much in the driver's seat. You'll be on the TV table next after this match
That's
against
right.
Bex Kenna,
Yeah.
who's a pretty tough opponent,
Yeah.
but...
She's one of the top seeds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. So, and way younger than I am.
Oh, you know, it's...
I have to do it by stealth. Yeah,
Well,
my potting ability is not what it once was, but you know, I can still play a little.
Yeah. I think, yeah, once you get it in your system, it doesn't really go away.
I think that's true too.
We see a lot more. Sometimes the young guns kind of feel like, oh, you know, these old people don't know too much, but they've got history on their side.
Yep.
And definitely can show these young ones a thing or two.
Yeah, a little bit of experience.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then way back in 1984, you made it all the way to the World Championship final.
Yes, that was in that series. I can't remember exactly what it was called. National Express Bus Company in England was sponsoring us for 5 professional tournaments. Yeah, and I ended up in second place to Mandy Fisher at that time. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that was pretty exciting. And I think I lost 4-3 or 5-4. It was. I know it was one frame.
One frame,
Yeah,
very close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Was there just one red that you missed that you were like, oh, that was...
You know, I can't remember. Please don't ask me to remember what I missed in 1984.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Oh, dear. Now people are saying age is just a number. It is true, though. I still feel pretty good. I really do. Yeah.
Are you tapping into a fountain of youth, being back on the snooker table?
A little bit. Like, whenever I do play snooker, I kind of feel like I'm at home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Even though I play more pool now.
Yeah.
Competitively. It does feel like home.
Because this was the first game for you, I think you told me.
20 years before I played any 8-ball, 9-ball, any of that.
Yeah.
Any small table games. I didn't really see them. University of Guelph, all we had were snooker tables. It was beautiful.
Wow.
But back then, every pool hall or billiard club, all they had were snooker tables.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in Canada, it was really much more like England than it was like the U.S. with pool tables.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, I can remember, probably was early in the 80s, there was a show on, I think it was on CTV, that was called Thrill of a Lifetime. And a fireman got on the show, and he asked to have one game with Willie Mosconi. And Willie Mosconi came to Canada, came to Ontario, Coronation Billiards in Toronto. And actually the Women's Association at that time organized it and found this venue where there was one pool table.
Okay.
And the rest was all snooker tables. And Willie Mosconi came, and CTV came and filmed this frame. Maybe they played a little set. I'm not sure, but yeah. So that's how small pool was then, compared to how big snooker was. And of course, it was around the time Cliff won his world championship. All of that was happening, and all those boys in England were. Yeah.
Oh, well, it's amazing. Back in, I think, 1982, the Australian Open for snooker, in the semifinals, there were 3 Canadians: Cliff Thorburn, Kirk Stevens, Bill Werbernick, and the 4th guy, Doug Mountjoy.
Yeah.
So it's impressive what the Canadian mark was on the game, and it just
Absolutely. At that time, Jim White was in the top 8 in the world at that time as well.
True.
Yeah.
And opened the door for the next stream, like Brady Golan and Elaine Robidoux.
Yes.
They started coming along.
Hey, I played some partners with Elaine Robidoux.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Great.
At Maita World Masters or something, I think it was called. Yeah.
Yeah. And have you been to Jim's club out in Toronto, the Corner Bank?
I have not. I don't get back to Toronto that much these days.
Okay.
Yeah. Canadian Airlines are pretty expensive.
They are. I think it's cheaper to fly to Los Angeles from Vancouver than Vancouver to Calgary.
Truth. Unless you take your chances on like Flair or one of those
Wind-up planes or something like that.
Those
the toy
ones,
planes.
those guys, yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, Stephen Talbot's on there. Is my very, very good friend from Oregon. Often when we go down to Salem or to an event in Portland, stay at Stephen Talbot's house. He's been a friend of mine for 5 or 6 years.
Great.
Yeah.
So are you actually from the Royal City, Guelph?
No, I was born in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Oh.
And I grew up in and around Toronto and St. Catharines, and then went to University of Guelph. But I've been on the West Coast for quite a while now. Yeah. Yeah. Vancouver Island.
Great. Yeah, so some of you fans out there might not be too familiar with Saskatchewan, but it's a province that's hard to spell but easy to draw.
Absolutely. It's quite rectangular shape,
Yes.
much like the snooker table.
That's true.
So it's just north of North Dakota, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be pretty close.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. I think we're seeing a good revival of snooker in Canada and a nice growth here in America, as you can see with this lovely facility they have here at Ox.
This is fantastic. And these young players, these young women, I'm just blown away. I really am. It's so great to see. Just brilliant. It's easy to tell how much time they've put in, though. practice. They have to have.
True. It's interesting when they had Luca Bassel here, a world champion, last week. And obviously, everyone's reading the headlines that he came into the World Championships and said he didn't practice at all, really, leading up there. And he made kind of some sense because, you're not going to find your game at the Crucible. But it was interesting. He was telling the audience after the little Q&A that when he started, he would be 12 hours a day practicing.
Absolutely.
Just like,
you had to.
Mm-hmm.
You had to. I never put that much time in, but lots of times 6 or 8.
So you're just naturally talented at the game, I guess.
Well, I got a little bit of that. I got lucky. But, I was a pretty good athlete, and I'm also really good at math, at physics and geometry. So it all just made sense to me.
Okay.
Yeah. Got a little lucky. A couple of brain cells along with athletic ability.
True.
Yeah.
Did you ever have the great Bob Hargrove referee one of your matches?
Absolutely.
Oh, isn't
You betcha.
he dynamite?
You betcha. Yeah.
Anyone out there, if you get a chance and you're out in New Brunswick, head over to Ideal Amusements. That's
Yeah.
Bob's store, and just he's solid gold, that guy.
Yep. No, Bob's a friend of mine. Absolutely.
It's nice that they've they'd had some induction ceremonies this year at the Canadian Championship, and Bob was inducted, as well as Brady Golan and Jim Weich and Paul Thornley, I believe.
Paul Thornley, great
and
9-ball player.
Elaine Robidoux.
Elaine, yes.
So maybe we need to ring up Mr. Weich and say we've got a great gal beside me that deserves some Hall of Fame honors with that great resume you have in this game.
I think that there should be some women in the Hall of Fame. I think they did induct Natalie, who's passed away.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
And Sheila King, do you see her?
I do. Strangely enough, she was the woman that Cliff put me in touch with for that first Ontario Championships that led me to competition.
Okay.
And she lives an hour's drive away from me on Vancouver Island. And when I first moved to Vancouver Island and bought my billiard club in Port Alberni, she lived 4 doors away from me. Just bizarre.
What a small world.
Well, and of course the snooker world in Canada is small, but running into people and living that close to somebody you've known for 45 years or something like that, just amazing. So, no, Sheila's a good friend.
Yeah, how come she didn't come down for this great event?
I think she's mostly been playing 8-ball. She does have, I know, trouble with her neck sometimes. I mean, mine hurts after yesterday, but not too bad. Yeah.
Well, we do have one of our players, Karen. Oh, she might be in your group, I believe.
She is.
She is a certified masseuse.
I know, and
So-
I'm staying at her house. I got billeted to her house. That was perfect.
There you go.
Yeah.
How's the neck today?
She didn't give me a massage. I beat her 3-0 yesterday. Maybe that had something to do with it. Actually, she and her folks have been just lovely, really, really kind. That was just awesome.
You do see that a lot in the billiards community. Everyone's
Totally.
so warm and welcome.
Totally.
Very friendly. Like,
Mhm.
I just see all the women in here having lots of laughs together. But then when it comes to game time,
Oh, yeah.
the laughs go away. It's time to do the business.
Exactly. I hope that's true in most sports.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. But snooker family and the pool family, like all of the billiard family, all around the world is just awesome in that regard.
Yeah, well,
It's a great family.
the gang here at Ox have always welcomed me with open arms. It's been quite fantastic, and I really enjoy coming down here. They put on great events. This is the second year running of this great event. We'll be
Yeah.
seeing you again here next year.
I think so. I think that they're trying to maybe get something happening in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada as well, maybe even back-to-backing it so that people could come and have access to 2 events one
Mhm.
weekend after the next. So it's only a couple of hours drive down from Vancouver, British Columbia, so that seems like the ideal situation. That would allow people to come and take full advantage instead of just being, it's expensive to travel these days, and to come from far, far away. I can't believe we've got a couple of players here from Hong Kong and from Thailand, and it's a lot. So to have a couple of tournaments close to each other would be great. I'd like to go back to England and go, stay at a friend's place for a month or something like that and take advantage of 2 tournaments. That'd be great.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully maybe someone in our chat room is tuning in from England. Maybe they can help Marianne out. We'll see what happens.
I've got some friends there.
But it is fantastic. You hear the stories about the Hong Kong. They're so invested in sport.
It's incredible.
They bring the money there. Wish we could have that.
Yes.
With more in Canada. I think America does well with the sports. They do put the money into it. They may not put it as much into the billiard sports just because there is that old stigma that people have, the smoke-filled room.
I know.
And the shady characters, which...
and it's nothing like that anymore. And even back in the day, it really wasn't like that.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there were a couple of shady characters hanging around, but they were just characters.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, you got to have some character in the room, right? Yeah. Well, it looks like Jamie's pretty well cleaning up this match, eh?
Yeah, 41-2 lead in the second frame. They do play all 3.
Yes.
So every frame is important. It's definitely probably one of the more quicker tables. Or quicker players on the table.
Oh, here's Mink getting ready. I think she's playing at 12:30 as well.
Yes, she is. She'll be playing her
So she's on...
final match against Louise Forster, I believe, from
Is
Scotland.
Is that a 4.5 by 9 but set up as a snooker table?
Those are those Chinese 8-ball tables. Are you familiar with those?
Not really.
So they're the size of a pool table, but then the height of the cushions, as we found out yesterday, are the same of a snooker table, and the pockets are cut like a snooker table.
And the rails are snooker rails, so they have the little flat surface on the face?
Yeah.
Right. So it plays like a snooker table.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, interesting.
Not sure if you do make it to Vancouver often, but Jonathan's son has a room down top 147.
Yeah.
He's got, I think, about 6 Chinese 8-ball tables and 7 snooker tables, soon to be 8.
Fantastic.
So, well, obviously the big thing always is real estate. As some of these snooker tables are the size of a downtown apartment in Vancouver.
When I lived on Cortes Island in British Columbia, which was before I went to Port Alberni and bought my billiard club, so I left Cortes Island in 1995, I think, or maybe 94, somewhere around there. I had a full-size snooker table in my neighbor's barn. It was the only place around that was large enough to fit such a thing, and so I rented a space from them upstairs. Yeah. It was a big old Brunswick, heavy duty.
Yeah. Gone through 2 world wars.
Yes, absolutely. Now that I think of it, of course it would have. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, you've got some supporters from North Bay.
Oh, who's talking to me from North Bay? Where are we?
Holmesley 88 or Martin Holmes. The Holmes clan.
Martin, hello. Fantastic. He's kind of my, let me see, what would I call that? My nephew-in-law. He's my niece's partner.
Okay. Sounds good. I can follow that logic. Sometimes you have those weird family, like cousins once removed, family twist around stories. But
yeah, that's fantastic. Hi, Martin. Yeah. Yeah.
That's nice because actually my parents had a cottage just south of North Bay in South River.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
So I spent some summers there, did some golf tournaments in North Bay.
Oh,
so
are you a golfer?
That was my first sport, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well,
I work at a golf course.
do you?
I do.
Well, there we go. I've just kind of got back into it a little bit. We do a lot more pitch and putt, I guess, in Vancouver. Just some friends, a full round of golf can take quite a while, so just sometimes the time. And I had been struggling, but I've found something because the old muscle memory, as we say, when you learn it when you're young, it's in there somewhere. Yeah. It just needs to come out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. No, I work at an executive golf course, so it's kind of what you're talking about.
yeah.
But it's, 6 par 3s and 3 par 4s, right? So you do get to use your whole bag of clubs.
Let's just see our good friend Wayne Binder tuning in.
Hello, Wayne. Oh.
It's a very strong snooker player, but we haven't seen you out there too much, Wayne, in recent times. Hopefully we can get you back into the room. AG 303 was looking for a house, and they had to buy a big one with a massive garage.
It could fit 2 snooker tables. That's massive. That barn was pretty big.
True. This is definitely looking like a victory here for Jamie, as it's 64-2. There's a concession there.
Right.
So we will take a short little break and come back with frame 3.
Okay.
Are you going to stick around, Marianne, or are you going to go get mentally prepared for your match?
I could stick around, or I'll see how I feel in 1 minute.
Okay, well, stand by. Marianne may or not be back. Either way, it's been great having you in the booth, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon. And
Thanks so
good luck.
much. Yeah.
Right. And we're back here with frame 3 action. Unfortunately, Marianne McConnell was going to go and just get prepared for her match, but that was just some great fun having her in the booth. Lots of great history with her in this great game. We're kind of maybe spurring on a little idea that we were talking about during the break. Maybe we could have a Marianne McConnell versus Cliff Thorburn battle of the sexes matches. What do we think, streaming audience? Would that like to be fun? And maybe we'll bring them down here to Ox, because these tables are definitely top notch. We are getting good tables back in Vancouver, so keep your eyes peeled for that one. If tennis can have a battle of the sexes, I think so can we in snooker. And Kathleen's got a little jig in her step there, happy with that long pot. Push a little blind cut. This black to the top left corner pocket.
Oh, that was awesome. The legend in the booth. That was cool.
True. The legend that is Marianne McConnell.
Oh, wow.
Foul 7, Jamie.
What a pot, though. I mean,
Yeah, sensational pot. I think just everybody in the room, and us two included, didn't see that in off.
it's like you were saying, though. She's quite the potter, this Kathleen.
Yeah, I think she's vastly improved from last year
Definitely.
in her potting, and I think if she just keeps at it, and it sounds like she loves to play the game, loves to, definitely heavily involved in her pool. And hopefully she can keep at the snooker and maybe just watch a bit more and just see. Sometimes you gotta run and hide. It's not all potting.
But speaking of potting, what a gorgeous shot there from Jamie Hunter. Nice little stun run through off that long red. Get perfect on the black, a little bit high, and end up shooting this.
Just a lapse of concentration there by Jamie. Yes, Jan. Marianne sends you well wishes. Jan Hughes is saying, good to see Marianne. This Jan is a friend of Marianne's over in England. So
Yeah, very cool. We gotta get some more players up in the booth, huh? What else are we gonna find out there? Tried convincing Anyi, but she just kept masking her English, saying, "No, I don't understand what you're saying anymore." All of a sudden, fair enough.
yeah, it's still a bit tough, probably, with some of the players that are in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
It's great that Marianne could take some time. Obviously, she's in the driver's seat in her group. Going to be going up tough against Bex in her next TV table match. But sometimes when you're playing, you just want to just be focused on the task at hand. You don't want to. As it's pretty interesting sometimes. I'm amazed at Sean Murphy on the pro circuit. He has time to do his commentary and play in the match. And
yeah,
some
that's
people
impressive.
have been a bit critical of it, saying maybe you should focus one on the other.
Yeah. But even then, I think Sean Murphy's commentary is pretty good. Definitely any pro at that level is gonna be so knowledgeable of the game that they have to essentially know what they're talking about. I did find it quite comical though, because I don't think anybody was able to predict Si Jiawei, the Chinese player that was making a big run in the World Championships. From what I remember listening to Sean's commentary, he might have gotten a few of the calls wrong, because I don't think anybody saw. This is probably the wrong shot. He said, this probably shouldn't be taken. This is not the percentage play. Then again, this giant, massive, long blue goes into the pocket. So I mean, technically it might be the wrong shot, but when it goes in, it goes in. So that's a tough call. It's a tough call, Sean.
True, as it comes down to comfort level, like I know I was alluding to in yesterday's match with Diana Schuler and Bex, I thought there was a good safety option for Diana to clip off a red that was by a pink and put herself 2 cushions, maybe 3 cushions back into bulk, and maybe even a 4th cushion to get behind the yellow. And talking to her afterwards, and she's like, well, I would have to use the rest for the shot. And she's like, I just didn't feel comfortable. So that's kind of what it comes down to sometimes. Comfortability and how you're feeling. Like if you're feeling you can't miss, you're going to take on probably a lot more pots.
Speaking of being comfortable, I think that awesome split of the balls there from Jamie Hunter on this previous black left a nice red up to come up for one of the bulk colors, and I think she's definitely starting to get more comfortable. It seems like it's pretty similar to yesterday's match, when she kind of got off to a slow start a bit in the first frame, and then as the frames went on, you could definitely see kind of the freight train starting to roll. Wouldn't be surprised if she gets a pretty decent break here. She's already on 19, so I think high break was a 30 plus, I think, in the previous frame, something like that. So
it's possible we got kind of sidetracked because it was kind of a little interview catch up with Marianne there. So the snooker kind of was in a little bit of the background. We weren't giving you the great blow by blow action, but it was really great to hear some insight from Marianne.
Oh, definitely. You did miss an awesome pot from Kathleen in that frame. That was super, super long red. Amazing pot. And some really good pots from Jamie Hunter as well. It's come a little bit far on this yellow down to the business end, but I think she's straight in on to this red in the middle pocket. Play for the black. Excellent shot.
Yeah, because that pink does not go into the top right, so we'll put some action on that cue ball to hold for the black.
Almost putting the stun shot here. We're going to see a long red attempt in this one now. 30. It's on a break of 30, so put a couple of 30s together and it's probably going to be the end of frame pretty soon. But this long red to keep the break going. Wow, what a shot.
Right side of the blue. Might just is fortunate that the open red.
36.
Probably going to want to get on that right side of the blue after this red. Just
37. This is a fun shot. I think Luca ended up on one of these, and he did the classic screw back into the knuckle of the cushion and come across.
Yeah, it's very, very tricky shot. I think because Jamie on that last red was just banged the table a little bit in a bit of frustration.
Yeah. It was a high break opportunity definitely here, because if she had gotten a little bit farther forward on this red, there was a natural opportunity to cannon into those balls.
Jamie 42.
Nice little break there by Jamie to take a 57-2 advantage in this third frame. There is 67 left on the table. Where's that cue ball going?
Oh, no. Disaster strikes there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 60, saying the potting accuracy gives a big advantage when the pack is open. Yeah, I agree. I think that's Jamie's biggest weapon, is her ability to score, I think, in quick succession. So it's going to have to leverage that.
Yeah, when she gets in, she's like a prize fighter, just, throwing jabs, hooks, and uppercuts, and just scoring heavily. So we'll see if that can be a factor, if kind of an opponent of Jamie can really tie her up or something like that, or make her start thinking, or not really let her get herself going and get in some fluidity.
Oof, missed the pack there. She shot it with... Oh, no. What?
This is going bad to worse for Kathleen. Two unfortunate in-offs.
Wow. I mean, the way she shot it, she was definitely not going to be... She's probably going to be running into the pack with just kind of the top. That does kind of become a shot to nothing if you shoot it with a stun, with enough backspin on the cue ball to get it to go around the black and miss the pack. But very unfortunate to go in off of that green. Where's John Virgo when you need him, huh? Is it? Where's the cue ball going? Sorry. Bad attempt.
A wee bit.
A wee bit.
We'll leave that to John. I know it seems like sometimes a lot of people, when they come in the booth, they do want to reiterate his big catchphrase of where the cue ball is going, but...
I almost prefer the other one. I like when he says, how's the line? And how's the length? I think that one's also pretty good.
Mm-hmm. I think those are John's saying, so we'll let John keep saying that.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think we need to come up with maybe some of our own, some originality that we can have.
Oh, I've got flukers all day. Don't worry about it, Dave.
True, that's your bread and butter.
Mm-hmm.
I won't touch that sandwich. You can enjoy it all you want.
Please stop, says Nigel Oliver. Oh, don't worry. We're done.
There's some high level of impressions yesterday when our day was done, just talking away in the room. So
I do think my line and length one was a little bit better, but that's fair.
It's gonna sit there for Kathleen. I think she can get past this yellow.
Mm-hmm.
64 points is the difference. There is 59 on the table. So Kathleen does need 2 snookers. plus these reds with the black. Good that the black is on its spot, and a lot of the reds are mostly down around that black. It's fortunate enough with these few cannons into the flick off the black.
Oh, yeah.
Cannon into that red. It's put her plum onto the black.
Or even the pink in the middle, but I think black there all day. It'll be nice to play for one of these reds next.
True, she could get away with the pink if she wanted to, as the two snookers would give her a big tie, and I think actually she might need even more. Score was just a little late on the update. Yeah, 61 in it and 59 on the table, so she does need 3 snookers accompanied by reds and blacks. Could get 1 pink if she needed,
Yeah,
but
it's prime position to get all the black she needs here. Might want to play for the snooker on the last red. Oh, tough shot.
because then you get the advantage of a potential of a free ball.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, that's the part that, and also that you have maximal blockers to hide behind as well. So it's kind of a double-edged sword that plays to your favor.
Yeah, there's sometimes you know, the two schools of thought. It's you know, when there's a lot of balls on the table, you know, you can cannon into anything, but then sometimes if there's only a few balls on the table, you have to hit one. And
Wayne Binder asking, what time's Marianne's match? Also, was her last match on the live stream? She's going to be playing on the live stream next after this match, actually. It's going to be her against Bex Kenna. So do tune in. It's going to be, I believe, 12:30 is what it's scheduled for, and I think looks like we're on time for that to be the case.
yes, and unfortunately, that will be Marianne's first TV appearance. So anyone up there in Maple Leaf country, let your friends know.
Yeah, tune in.
That the Canadian great Marianne McConnell will be on the table. Rather in the driver's seat in her group. She's won both her matches 3-0. So even if she was to lose, I think 3-0 to Bex, she'll probably still be moving on to the knockout round. I expect that to be a really interesting match. Kind of the old frontier taking on the new wave of players. So kind of nice, exciting match. We've got obviously young versus old here, but Kathleen a little bit more versed in the pool world. You know, has kind of just started to take up snooker over the past few years. Doesn't have the rich history that Marianne has. But I must admit, being here the past 2 years, I'm impressed at how Kathleen has improved her game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you see that amount of improvement over this year, imagine what she'll be able to accomplish next year. And I'm sure she's asking me, you know, before the match started, she was asking a lot more about, you know, how to practice more in the area. I know she lives up in shoreline areas, so probably not super close to Ox, but maybe we can connect her with some of the local players so when she does come down here, she has someone to play with and learn from. Like I said, I think the biggest low-hanging fruit for her would probably be a couple of the tactical decisions and when to shoot certain pots on. Probably make a big leap and bound in her game pretty quickly, I'd imagine, because she's got some good potting ability, that's for sure. Oof, tough red down the rail.
Yeah, this might be all she wrote here. Jamie's able to put this in. Good angle on the black to get back for this red.
Yeah, it looks like our scoreboard says 5, probably 6 now. Snookers required, so I do believe they are ending the frame when there's 3 or more snookers required around that. So this will definitely be the last chance at the table for both players. That black is on a break of 16. Can we get a clearance to get to the 100-point mark in the score?
Sure, and just a quick little update as Jamie's doing this. Just want to update you before we take a break for our next match. Jacquet is taking a 1-frame advantage over Frances Chow, and Diana Schuler has taken her first frame over Karen Lyson. So there is one other table with Jocelyn, and I'm not sure her, and what looks like Marion Poole. Just can't see the score from iVantage, but as we conclude, there was handshakes there. So Jamie Hunter, undefeated in her group stage matches, so she has punched her card into the quarterfinals, and we'll be returning live here in about 15 minutes for another great match between Canada's own Marianne McConnell, the old long-time player, against the new Bex Kenna from England, up-and-comer on the Pro Tour. So it should be very exciting to watch. So tune in to us in about 15 minutes time. All right, everybody. If you're still tuning in the stream, we've got a little bonus interview here. Unfortunately, on the losing end of that last match that we saw, we have Kathleen Stanley in the booth. Hello, Kathleen. How are you doing?
Great.
Great. So what are your thoughts? What are your feelings from the tournament so far?
Wow, I'm pretty motivated.
Great. Well, I must admit, this is your second time
Yeah.
here at the tournament. How long have you been playing snooker for?
Well, it's all relative, right? The first time I picked up a snooker cue was at the 211 Club that used to be in Seattle. It's closed now.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have been about 1970, no, not about 1985.
Okay. Wow.
I played snooker there, but I didn't really know what I was doing, and nobody showed me anything, so I'm just banging balls.
Okay. Well, you can definitely see that. I notice, like, definitely it's night and day with your potting ability this year compared to last year.
Oh.
In that last match, where, I really was impressed by your potting.
Thank you.
One little thing, I think if we can start to develop your snooker mind a little bit more, just
Yes.
seeing that safety. And I think that's tough sometimes with the pool player background where it's so offensive.
Yeah.
That you never think of, like, well, I do want to keep this run going, but then you take that risky
Yeah.
pot.
Yeah.
So sometimes they run and hide. But that's just an
Yeah.
observation I have, that you obviously at the table know the best shot for you.
Well, not necessarily with snooker, but I did watch a lot of YouTube educational videos a few days before this. I didn't see much in the way of defensive,
Okay.
so that's what I was looking for,
Yeah.
and I didn't really find much of that.
Okay.
That would have helped, I think.
Yeah, I think if you start to notice and just see maybe a few of those bulk colors come together, because then they can start to create a wall, or sometimes a bulk color might go a little bit to a side cushion. I always like to have that in the back of my head. I'm like, hey, there's that little thing back there just in case.
Okay.
And clip off. But the potting is fantastic.
Oh,
like,
thank
it's
you.
really, some of your long pots, you're hitting right in the middle of the pocket, so you're striking it true. So
Thank you. That's what I was trying. So hard.
And who else was in your group that you were playing?
Marion Poole, I won that one. I played with Jocelyn
Okay.
Lou.
Mm-hmm.
I did not win that one. That was my first one. And then the one here was my
Against
third.
Jamie, yeah.
Yeah.
That's tough going against the defending champion.
Oh, gosh.
Mm-hmm. And I thought it was almost going to be like I've seen a little bit of your action from afar, and you're a more calculated player, whereas Jamie is quite quick.
Yeah.
Like, how did you kind of deal with that?
I didn't. Oh, you mean it
Like,
didn't bother me at
Didn't
all.
bother me. You just kind of stuck to your game plan.
Yeah, I'm real good about that.
That's a good thing to have.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can get wrapped up. Sometimes your opponent's playing fast, and you feel like you need to play fast. So that's great to hear that you just.
No.
Hey,
No, I'm
excellent.
really good at blocking everything out.
Great, fantastic, good to hear. So does anybody have any questions out on the stream that they want to ask Kathleen? How you finding the tables here, Hairy Dogs?
Oh, gosh, they're much better than at the zoo.
The zoo? You've been hanging out with giraffes?
No, Zoo Tavern.
This is a local joke I don't know about here.
Well, there's
Local bar.
Yeah, they have one snooker table. It's
Okay.
seen a lot of use.
Okay.
And he just told me a while ago the pockets are bigger. That's what I was practicing on before this. So,
Well, I think famously enough, Stephen Hendry, 7-time world champion, at home, his table, the pockets were smaller than an actual professional table.
oh,
So he was quite ruthless.
oh, gosh. Yeah, I watched him when he was, I think, a teenager.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I was in Nova Scotia, and somebody told me the snooker was on. I said, yeah, let's turn that on right now.
Are you originally from Canada, or are you?
No.
No.
No, I was just visiting friends there.
Ah, okay. Fair
Mhm.
enough.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I don't know. Do you have? What's this Northwest Women's Pool tour that's going on.
Yeah.
Are you participating in that?
I haven't been able to so far.
Mhm.
I had a dog that had to have surgery, and it's been a very, very long road to recovery. So I've just been on my own 9-foot pool table for like 3 months or something.
Okay.
A little longer than that, though. But I'm going to be jumping back in. They're having one, I think, mid-September in Everett, and then I'll do the last one that's here.
Okay,
I
great.
think that's November.
Yeah, it looks like, when is the one? Everett is going to be on September 16th to 7th.
Yeah, I'll be doing that one.
Okay, those are the two last stops there
Yeah.
in Golden Fleece Billiards Hall.
Yeah.
How's that room do? Did they have any of these big tables?
They don't have snooker tables. They did have mostly 9-foot diamonds, but I understand it's mostly 7-foot diamonds now. But they
Yep.
have, I think, maybe 5 or 6 9-foot diamonds left. I haven't been there in a while, so I don't really know. However, I'm going there in a couple of weeks because all the top guns in the pool world are going to be there for a special tournament,
Great.
like Shane Van Boning and
Cool.
the like.
Wow, the top draw. Holy
Yeah.
cow.
Tyler Steyer's going to be here in a couple of weeks, and I'm going to be a part of that.
Very nice. Cool, cool. Yes. those are
However, it would be great to get some formal tutoring on the snooker table so I can be a little better prepared next year.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you ever come up to Canada to play?
Not yet, but I got a Nexus card not too long ago, so I can breeze in and out.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Those border lineups can be quite a long time. So.
Yeah, well, I did that once. I'm like, nope, not
Not-
doing that again.
Okay. And where do you
Sorry.
live? Do you get much snooker practice in?
No,
No.
no.
Oh, okay.
The only snooker tables here in Seattle are these, and like the zoo, which is not really an option.
Which actually is a zoo.
Yeah, and there's a place in Redmond, but I've not been able to get in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I believe CCU's club, Empire Billiards.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mhm. So I'm pretty sure CC will welcome you with open arms,
Great.
and it's always been a great treat having you pay a visit to us in the booth.
Yeah.
So, Kathleen, enjoy the rest of the tournament. Thanks for
Okay.
taking time to say hello, talk a little bit, and I hope you can get some front row seats for our next stream match, which is going to be Bex Kenna against Marianne McConnell.
Oh my goodness, that's coming up right now.
Right now, who do you figure? Who are you pulling for?
Backs.
Oh, but she's
Well,
English.
I
We got to
mean,
keep it in North
I
America,
just
right?
love Marianne, but from what I've seen, Bex is pretty unstoppable.
True. Okay, well, it'll be an exciting match, so thanks again, and we'll
Okay.
talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you
Take
very
care.
much.
Bye-bye. and welcome back to day 2 of the WineCellars.com U.S. Women's Open or Snooker Open Championship of 2022. We've got a great match here to finish off our round-robin televised matches. It's Canada's own Marianne McConnell going against Bex Kenna. Both of these two are at the top of their pool, so I think both these players will be moving on unless something disastrous happens, but the seeding is important here. Bex does have one frame against her, as Diana Schuler yesterday was able to take one, but as they say in soccer sometimes, or football, it's a clean sheet for Marianne McConnell, but Bex Kenna.
Wow, what a pot.
Started off, yes, with a great long pot. So David Burney's in the booth with Christian Youngers. We may have some guests. We'll see how this match progresses, if anyone wants to come in and chat about their experiences, but we're glad all you people are tuning in on the stream. Feel free to let all your friends know and let us know where you're tuning in from, or if you have any comments or questions for us, we can let you know.
Looks like a pretty nice line there to get into the red. A little bit of hampered cueing, I guess, but oh, Dave Daly cleaning the cue ball. Good stuff. Nice job there. In amongst the balls. It's going to be a little bit of hampered cueing, it looks like. But well done, Dave.
Yeah, you need a steady hand to be a referee, and concentration. We always tell these players are deep in concentration, obviously when they're at the table, but obviously they can relax a little bit when they're not at the table. Obviously they might be stewing over a shot that they miss and watching their opponent put up a high valued break, but the referee doesn't really get that much of a break, doesn't have a sit down, doesn't really have a comfort break at all, has to be focused on the match at hand. Just rattled in the jaws and went out. Great pictures there that the team at Ox provides. Unfortunately, that black has gone up table, so it's really kind of put it out of position, but pink is around, so we'll see what Marianne can do with this. Good angle on the green to come off cushion, come back down table. Yeah, it's a great. This is a great match of the old guard versus kind of the young up and well, not Bex isn't really a young up and comer. She's young, but she's definitely put her mark there. She's on that Open Pro Tour. 125, but is ranked 4th on the women's side, so definitely Bex is a strong opponent. And if you tuned into our last match, we did have Marianne in the booth, and she was aware of what Bex can do.
Oh yeah, that was an awesome interview. She's perfect behind the mic. She get her back in the booth. That was awesome. Telling us all the good stories about all the famous Canadian snooker players.
True, and if we've got any people that want to sponsor a great event, I think we kind of just started potentially a Snooker's own Battle of the Sexes, Marianne McConnell versus Cliff Thorburn. What do we think?
I like it. I like it. It would be pretty good. Nice job there from Dave Daly. Managed to get the cue ball out of the way of the cue ball marker out of the way. Beck's making him work out there, cleaning the cue ball. I like it. I like it. Oh, where's this cue ball going to end up? Oh, it's going to come a little short, I think.
Nice. Tap on the table by Marianne, acknowledging a good safety shot there by Bex.
Woogieman 007 asking, is it the top 2 players that go through or just the top player? It is the top 2 in each group of 4 that are going to be going on into the bracket, into the quarterfinal stage, which will be later today at 3 p.m. That's when we're going to have a start of that, and we'll see which match we get televised. Not sure yet.
Either way, it's going to be a good one, whatever one is televised.
Oh, skirted behind those reds along that rail. Just leaves kind of a tough pot on, basically, for Bex. I have to be impartial, but Bex is our sponsored player, part of Team Ox here on the tour.
And we do see that little Ox logo on Christian's shirt. So, but as I've told you, Christian, the cardinal rule of commentary, we can't have bias. You know, I'm trying to be as fair as I can to these two ladies on the table. Obviously, you can see my country person there, Marianne, with the maple leaf. But I'm just up for watching a good match, and hopefully they both play well. There's something, if you play good snooker and you lose to a player that just plays better, it's not that bad of a pill to swallow. It's when you're not making your shots and you really just beat yourself and then your opponent beats you. That's when you're kind of sick to the stomach.
Yeah, it looks like Handmade by Joe is in the Facebook chat. Also wishing Bex the best in her match. Another sponsor for her from over the pond. Very cool. Yeah, well, I mean, I agree. I think having a start table at home of your own to practice on makes a big difference. That was one of the things that we were discussing with her in the past. Was she's going to be on the tour and wants to be able to compete. It's going to be a big difference if you're actually able to practice on the table equipment that you're playing on every week.
True, yeah, like back in Canada at the club I play in, we don't have nowhere near these tables, and I could feel it last night when we had a little friendly doubles. Pretty much I was missing most of my shots by, I'd say, about 100 yards.
About 100 yards?
That's just being,
generous?
Pretty generous.
Okay. Not too shabby, I guess. No problem, Joe. Ooh, nice spot there. Just got the left part of the pocket. Drops. Is on this pink pretty nicely into the middle pocket. Might be an opportunity here to play maybe off of this pink, and if she can shoot this gap between the reds, do you think maybe play for this red into the right corner next? That line might be ideal, but it's a bit of a strange kind of stun screwback shot to hit that gap, because it'll ideally open this red into this corner pocket down here next. But just what my brain tells me. I'm no professional at this. She's the one rolling this in. Definitely able to get on this position on this after this red as well. So.
Yeah, 24 break. Looking to build on it. Bex is a little hampered by this blue.
Yeah. Bit of a problem because she can't go forward for it into the right corner.
Oh, yeah, she's taking the other red. I thought, maybe that red, those three reds on the left side that's open, the one that's closest to cue ball, might pass those two reds to go into the top left. But she's taking the blue out of the question.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking is if she can get into this area right here at some point, she's going to be able to actually clear up almost from here, or at least clear most of the reds. It's going to be a tough part of this frame.
Just always a little tough when you have to use the rest. And I know sometimes our friends in pool really don't like the rest. Obviously, you don't use it as often as you do on a snooker table. But when you have a table that's 6 feet by 12, you have to bring in the rest into your family and make sure it's a good friend and you enjoy using it and you get confidence because you are going to be using it more often than not. Unless you're, what was his name? He's down at Pike Market. Robert Walden, what was he, like 8 feet 11 inches?
Oh, geez, yeah. One of the tallest men ever or something, yeah. Oh, wow, what a pot there from Marianne. She says, I'm not going anywhere, Bex. You're going to have to take this frame from me.
Yeah, Marianne's not going to go quietly, that's for sure.
We've got Peter over on Facebook, Belgian international snooker referee. Welcome to the live stream.
Yes, Peter, we had your fellow countryman, Luca Bassel, in the room about a week ago. That's a little frustrating. She had a great red. Got good shape on that pink. Just couldn't pull it. This is the first match for both. So might just be a few jitters. You're never fully really kind of in it until you get your first frame on the board there. And obviously with these 3-frame matches, you got to strike pretty quick. It's going to be nice to get behind the black. It's out of the pace. Very nice.
Wow.
Referee Daly just coming over to inspect, just in case there might be a putback. We are in this round robin. It's 3 attempts on a foul and a miss, but when we get into the knockout, that's goes away, and we play full-on professional ruling, which is unlimited attempts until we reach the snooker required stage. So you can see what Mary has to deal with there. Recovery shot there. Looks like Bex could have a little shot to nothing here. This red that's just left of the pink. Maybe hit that it's a bit thick, but still was able to get her cue ball back into the bulk area, creating some distance.
Yeah, Jimmy Hunter won her match, previous live stream right now, previous match against Kathleen. Oh wow, almost got it in off of that pink. And managed to double up these balls here, so it's going to be not a trivial plant. Probably something she would go for maybe. Or does this red go into the left middle?
I'm worrying about that. I know my ability is nowhere near the ability of Bex, but that plant is just, there's so much distance between the balls, just making that shot so much more difficult. Obviously, plants are nice when you have it welded, 2 balls welded together. It's nice. We're seeing some visitors come down from Canada. Jonathan Sun in the room, who's the owner of Top 147 Billiards up in Richmond, British Columbia, Canada. It's just a suburb just outside of Vancouver. Big room there. It's got lots of tables, about 7 snooker tables, just newly installed 2 Rasson tables. And it's always the site of the BC Open Snooker Championship, where we saw you last year, Christian, making your debut at that tournament.
No, it was a lot of fun. I managed to sneak away on my live stream match on that one. That was fun. Got a couple opportunities maybe I shouldn't have gotten, but yeah, it's a good time. Awesome club, a lot of space. And here are the 2 new Rasson Magnums that are that got installed there recently. Should be pretty fun to play on those. I never gotten a chance to play on a Magnum yet. I hear mixed reviews, but I hear the tables play pretty tight though, right?
As I was looking, yeah, the pockets look really tight, and I've talked to some of the players that have got on those tables before I came down here, and they are enjoying it. It's a tough table, but it's just going to sharpen your skills that much better.
That's good. Yeah, that's awesome. I love playing these under these pro conditions. It's definitely elevates your game, makes you bring a different level of focus to it when you know you really have to, put the ball clean into the pocket.
Yeah, when you're on those club tables, they are a bit more generous with larger pocket openings, and so sometimes you kind of get used to that. But definitely, it's nice when you can have maybe a few tables in the room that are of that elite status.
Yeah, especially for your big tournaments as well. Like you said, BC Open and maybe some other events happening in the future.
We do have some things in the fire, that's for sure. In December, we'll be having our annual shootout / Christmas party.
Oh, nice.
So
Okay.
you guys down here at Ox are always welcome. That should be going down, I think, December 9th.
Very cool.
Hopefully maybe in just before the Seattle Snooker Open. Hopefully that's again in mid-March here in Ox.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We might just unveil a team tournament to find out who is Team BC.
Starting some rumors, huh, Dave? Starting some rumors, I see.
I've said it, and I kind of am the man behind the scenes up there, so I have to live by my word. Trust me, I'm very careful with my words. I don't like to just announce just anything willy-nilly. But I'm pretty sure there will be some kinks that we need to work out in this team tournament, but as anyone that's talked to me, my big idea is to parallel curling. If people know curling in Canada, we have a national men's and women's championship each year, and teams from all provinces and territories, they send one team to this tournament to find out. Very nice long pot that by Mary.
Wow.
And nicely on the brown. But going back, that's it. They curl and they find out who Team Canada is, and that represents Team Canada on the curling stage. I'm not sure how you guys do it in America, because I know America does curl, but I'm like, why can't we do this in curling? The format is easily pretty much the same there. So the idea, obviously, is to get snooker teams from all provinces and territories, find out who is Team Canada, and then hopefully soon enough, I know talking with Jason Ferguson this last year in Sheffield, he does want to kind of reenact a World kind of Cup kind of thing.
Okay. That would be really cool.
And I know there's been talk like sometimes, well, you should have a pro on the team. I know we've talked a little bit. Ricky Walden does have some Canadian lineage, so he might play there. But I don't think it's that bad having amateurs or old pros on that Team Canada.
No, definitely.
It still would be inspiring to see your fellow country person on a global stage. Whether they, it's obviously great if they win the tournament, but just to see a fellow country person doing something can inspire someone. Might not inspire all, but maybe someone here and there might think, hey, this kind of looks fun.
Yeah, definitely. And then it kind of sets the stage a little bit for the whole Olympics discussion in the future as well. I think those are all kind of things in the right direction, trying to grow the sport at the international level. Peter over on Facebook saying he's biggest match he refereed was the match between Luca Brissell and Judd Trump in Belgium. Well, that's pretty cool.
Wow, yeah.
It's kind of a coincidence. We've actually had both of those players come to Ox, turns out. So we'll have to get Peter down here for when they come and play together next time they visit Ox. Is that what I hear?
That's I think, my ears are buzzing there. I was just waiting for that invite. You're missing one piece of that crucial puzzle. So I don't know if you've been to America, Peter, but I'm pretty sure you'll love this room, Ox. And we'll definitely welcome your great refereeing abilities. That's something we do as well need a bit more in the communities here in America and up in Canada. We all love to play this game. We all want to play the game, but sometimes, we just have to maybe, if we play and we were not as strong a player and we're bounced out of a tournament, well, I know it's deflating, but maybe stick around and see if you can referee or scorekeep, or even just being a runner. Some of us that are working behind the scenes can't get away, and someone could run off and get lunch or something like that. So it really is a community effort that we need to kind of continue to bring to this game to have these tournaments run effectively.
Yeah, totally.
As I hear in Kenya.
In Kenya?
In Kenya, they have multiple clubs, and when their tournaments go on, it's not just the snooker that goes
Okay.
on. It's the whole atmosphere of the club. It's the whole the food of the club.
I see.
So
I see.
the whole experience, they're kind of competing against each other clubs. So it's kind
Got
of
it.
interesting philosophy.
Yeah, super cool. Seems like it's much more integrated, I guess, into everything else that they're doing. That's pretty cool. This is a good attempt at the snooker. Thing there is, I think, the doubled up reds in this right long rail doesn't leave an easy plant. He's just trying to get back behind that black or that green. I think this red is on for Marianne. Slight off angle.
Yeah, a little annoyance with that black. That might have just thrown her off a bit, but is that coming back for the yellow pockets?
Not quite. Yeah, Russell on YouTube saying you can tell Mary is a very experienced player, making things very difficult for Bex. Yeah, I think that's all you really can do. I mean, you know how the game works in and out, and there are certain times when you have to take the pot on. Just I think that was an example of, you know, this is a pot that she may not get a better opportunity at if she doesn't take it on. So a little fortunate to get the red safe, but this red is potable. It's gonna be a little bit awkward though with this spider over the blue.
Well, in Canada, we have a history of grinding. Cliff Dorman, famously, that's his nickname, the grinder. He would just, you know, he might not pot everything, but he'd just grind you down.
I call those players, or I guess Selby is now the new grinder, right? But masters of the dark arts of the game of snooker.
Yeah, it's not glitz and glamour with Selby, but he's just so difficult. And,
Yeah.
you know, I know probably he gets a lot of flack sometimes on social medias. Obviously, it's easy to criticize and hide behind a username or something like that, but you can't harm it if he's winning and stuff like that.
Ooh, do we get the fluker here?
There's a red out in the open.
Or we cover the red, I guess, that she was trying to pot.
Yeah, it definitely looks like Bex is the stronger potter of the two. But as you alluded to, I think the experience that Marianne knows to sometimes just tie up and frustrate a player,
Yeah.
that can rattle your potting ability.
Great example there of the great pot from Bex. Robo Boogeyman saying you should get a Mark Williams rest. Yeah, I've seen it. We were actually messing around with a 3D printed version of a rest, kind of like that. But didn't really end up working out because I think we didn't quite get the molds correctly or whatnot. But yeah, very interesting. If you guys haven't checked that out, the Mark Williams rest, you can kind of play it like a spider, play it like a normal rest. You have, you know, put on different angles, different sides, and you can get different heights out of the same rest. It's actually pretty cool.
Is that one that has like pretty much every like height known to man on
Essentially,
the rest? Like
yeah, basically.
you can get really low on the ball, high on the ball, center on the ball.
Spider height or so, yeah, you can kind of get anywhere in that range roughly. I think it's like 3 or 4 different angles. I think there was a famous pool rest as well back in the day called the London Bridge, I think. Alison Fisher was sponsored by them. Oh, went for the double here. Wow, that was a very close attempt. Makes most sense to go for the double on the color, I find, right? Because at worst you block the pocket, and at best you can pot it, but you never leave that ball because that's not what's going to be on. So pretty smart there from Bex, and I think she might have gotten almost the full snooker here. Just this pink only covering a portion of this red, but the other reds are all covered.
Yeah, I think that was the first idea Bex had of just being safe. If that black went in, I think it would have been a happy bonus.
Oh, where's the cue ball? Wow. Don't think I expected it to go in off quite like that.
Yeah, as we've discussed in our last match, you don't see many snooker players doubling a ball into any of the corner pockets for our pupil. That means a bank shot.
Yeah, it's just so tough into the corners already, right? And the way you would double a ball into the middle, that's the way that pocket plays the largest, essentially, right? So,
And even sometimes shots into the side pocket. You'll see a snooker player take a real thin cut into the side before they even think about doing a double. Whereas pool players are more versed in the bank shots, and obviously with their corner pockets on a smaller table or have a larger opening. This long pot for Bex.
oh,
Just
it's close. I think this is definitely up into the green pocket. I don't know if she'll take it on. She wants to follow up with... Oh, I guess, yeah, sorry. The black is blocking... I was going to say the left red, but black is blocking that pocket, so... She could have to take this into the green or try to uber thin this into the middle. Problem is she might lose the cue ball. But the black's available for most areas of the table.
looks like she's cutting this into the side. Really thin.
Not thin enough. Yeah, she was always going to lose her cue ball there, but you can tell most areas in the table you're going to have a shot at this black. And if not, if you get down below, you know, down by the business end, the pink is most likely going to be on as well into the middle. So I think that was a good decision. This is a very thin shot. Difficult.
Yeah, I think I'll almost take the cross double here. This red on the left side. You can really put your cue ball back into the bulk area.
Oh, that was almost a devilish roll up in the yellow.
Marianne has a chance to play safe here.
Yeah, this could be bad for Bex if she gets a good snooker here.
Yep.
Go ahead. Now, granted, there are 3 reds to play against, so probably a lot of options to play safe with, or a lot of options to kick to, I guess you could say.
Yeah, needs to pull up just a little bit. Ooh, that's very thin. Left Bex a thin red to the corner or the middle. That's really tough. First frame here in this round robin match. It's a 3-frame match. They play all 3 frames. Ooh, is this going to be a dreaded double kiss? Yeah, 42 in it and 51 on, so clear victor right now.
Probably going to the green pocket here. I guess it goes in the middle as well if the pink is out of the way.
Ooh, hopefully she can get some cover. It looks like that's just going to roll past the yellow. Tough to see. Looks like Bex is eyeing it and getting ready,
down,
so
yeah.
it does go. It's got to run, got to... Oh, just...
Uh-oh. Didn't want that, just barely overran. Was playing for black, I think.
Definitely not in Kansas anymore.
Were we ever?
Well, I think she wanted to come back a little bit so she could take old Toto, that black ball, and put it into the bottom of the pocket. But just got to be a little mindful of the push shot here. Push shot is when.
Oh, she's playing across.
Oh, if that had a bit more pace, that might have been really lovely behind that black.
Mm-hmm.
But So there's enough points on the table that Marianne can tie the frame and force a black ball respot. Something we haven't had yet in this tournament on the TV table.
Wow, this was very close to being a full ball snooker on both. Had a chance for that middle pocket too.
True. Fortunate enough she hit on the not straight on that horn, or that would have popped out and been an easy shot for Marianne and could have got on the black. So it slid a little bit. Let's see. It's Marianne like the double. It's a tricky double, cut back double to go into the left middle on this red.
Yeah, it lays nice though. I think usually like this amount of angle probably when I'm trying that reverse double. But I think she's taking the extension out, opting to go the other direction with it.
True, she might be able to get behind that wall of the pink and green.
Oh, staying behind the yellow it looks like.
Beautiful.
Wow, full snooker on both. Although this red on the right is not going to be the hardest one to hit, I imagine.
Yeah, with these top ranked players, getting into snookers isn't that difficult for them. The optimum thing, obviously, after making contact with a red, is making sure things are safe. She doesn't want to hit a red and then put a sitter, because that black ball still is in a very easy potable position. That's a good shot there by Bex. There might be a double on here.
This also lays nice for a snooker as well, because you're pushing that red towards the other red on the double. And if you can get behind brown or yellow, depending on the angle, you can kind of cluster the balls at the same time, making essentially one safe for one target instead of two targets.
She wanted that one and she's left this one. I think this is going to slowly look like first frame for Bex Kenna. Yes, Marianne now needs snooker. That was Bex's frame ball.
She'll probably take the brown here next. It's a safety opportunity as well. Play the treble maybe to the bottom cushion.
Oh, nicely
reverse
done.
double was there. Nice. We were talking about the reverse double the whole time, and
Finally they heard us.
finally, yeah. They've been listening. So nothing too wild in terms of high break scoring in this one, but a little more of a tactical game. Marianne McConnell obviously has the experience to make things difficult for Bex.
Yeah, Bex came out really strong in this frame. Was potting a lot of good balls. So Marianne knew what she's up against and just kind of had to slow down that potting train. But there's a concession there. So Bex Kenna takes this first frame over Marianne McConnell 64-10, and we'll be right back after this with frame 2 action. And we're back, everybody. There's a shot of that United States Snooker Open Championship trophy. Who is going to lift that high above their head in celebration come Sunday evening? But it's frame 2 in this matchup against Bex Kenna and Marianne McConnell. Bex took the first frame. Let's see if Marianne can put one on the board. It was
unfortunate break off there. Caught it too close to the point, the left corner pocket, and ended up running into the pink ball. Oh, we've got Ash Kenna in the Facebook chat.
Oh, this, I think he is the president, actually, of the Bex fan club.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So,
fortunately, didn't get a chance to meet him yet, but he did come last year for the
he did.
U.S. Open.
Hope you're doing well, Ash. We're missing you. Too bad you couldn't make it over this year, but hopefully next year. But I guess as president of the fan club, I don't know if you want to address any of the Bex fans on the chats to see how they can get in touch with their favorite English player over here. But Bex is doing quite well. She only had one loss. So this match pretty much determines who's going to be on top of this group. Both players will be moving on because they both came in. Marianne was 2 whitewashes wins, so 6 frames to the good and 0 on the board. Bex only had 1 blemish because Diana Schuler, co-tournament director, was able to take 1 frame off of her yesterday. But I think if Marianne's to turn around and win the next 2 frames, they would be tied, and then the tiebreaker, I believe, goes to a high break.
Oh, is that right? Out of the group?
I'd have to just double check on the rules. If we have someone that can quickly jump online, there should be some explanation at snookerscores.net. That's another place where you can find all the updates and where your favorite player stands in the group stages.
Yeah, I think Bex was taking a long time to look at that placement. I think she thought that it would fit on that black spot, the respot. Didn't want it to get clustered up here. Or she maybe, I guess that in combination with maybe coming short on this ball. I think she was trying to come across 2 cushions a little bit farther for the red in the left middle maybe. Or ended up overrunning this red by the black spot to the right corner. But I think it's the former. Oh, wow.
Just the way it looks like Diana Schuler 1-2-1 over Karin Lyson, and Jacquet is up 2-0 on Francis. It was a tough group that Francis was in. Local player here, but that's the Hong Kong group, all hailing from Hong Kong. She's coming up against the Anyi train, who Anyi is very determined this weekend, putting in a lot of practice, kind of just focusing on her game, doesn't want any outside influences. We did try and get her in the booth with a little insight, but unfortunately she's got a game plan and she's sticking to it because she desperately wants to get back on that open tour. Pretty much the main tour, I guess we could say. Could we call it the main tour?
Yeah, the main tour, yeah. I think it looks like Jackie over Francis 2-0. I think that solidifies her spot into the next round. It's going to be her and Anyi advancing, right?
Yes, that was correct. As you know, talking with Francis last night, she knew the importance of this match. It pretty much, winner was moving on. As Anyi had 2 3-0 victories over each Jacquet and Francis. So unfortunately, with the Jacquet leading that match 2 frames to nothing right now with 1 frame to go. Unfortunately, Francis is going to become a spectator now.
Well, no, that we're going to have a Challenge Cup, I believe. A secondary tournament happening, and as well as, I believe, a seniors tournament as well. Post the round robin knockout stage, I believe. So we will be having potentially a 4th match today. That depends on the timing and how things work out. But we will have for sure a guaranteed match at 3 o'clock PST, or PDT, I guess, Pacific Daylight Time. Will be the quarterfinals first round knockout stage.
True. Are you guys in America experimenting with getting rid of daylight savings?
That's what I heard, or just keeping it permanent. I don't remember which direction it is, but
Yeah, just keeping it at one time and not changing it in the fall and winter.
yeah, I believe that's something that was being discussed, but I'm not sure.
Maybe someone's calling in right now to
I
talk
think
about
so.
it. I believe they are open here at Ox, so that's one thing. We don't have the luxury in North America as maybe some of the tournaments do over in England. As some of these club owners, they're very generous with their time and opening up their rooms. But they do have a business to run, so sometimes they do have to open the doors. So that's another extra thing that the players have to contend with the busy hustle and bustle of a live, active room.
Great plant there from Bex. It went for the roll-up safety here and ended up hitting it a little bit too hard, I think. Wanted to leave it planted right behind that yellow, but now Marianne has a few options of reds to play safe off of. I think my preference would be the red. It's kind of out in the open, to the left of the pack, essentially.
Yeah, those two that are clustered just below the pink, just hitting on the left side.
I like this red right here, I guess.
So does
this
Marianne.
Almost pot. Oh, wow.
Yeah, a nice shot to nothing. Yeah, either one of those two balls, but good eye there. Christian, making good use of your new tool there, that telestrator.
Nice. Little paint job on the screen, no big deal. This might be a plant on, honestly. 'Cause I think if the red was a little bit closer to the pocket, it definitely would be on.
Yeah, she might be able to swing around them and hit Christian first.
Yeah.
Yep.
You called it. Oh, how's the pace? It's going to be on the black. If not, a very close blue into the yellow pocket. She is right-handed, though, so I think the black favors her cueing. Otherwise, the blue would have to be with the rest. Maybe they might need an extension on this, but we'll see.
Yeah, Beck's another player that kind of ties back her hair, but still lets it flow a little bit. I was talking to Jamie before her match that we saw on the TV table, mentioned it yesterday, and she was like, yeah, I was fully aware that I was pretty close. I almost touched some of those balls with my hair, and that would have been a foul. And even referee Dave Daly was like, I was eyeing it. It was pretty close.
I think probably came a little bit short on this position. I think he's playing for one of the reds. The red maybe to the right of the bunch into the left corner. Now it's going to play a safety as the black is blocking the path of that to the pocket.
Now that red in the open, just those three reds, there's a red to the right of them. So Marianne just nick off that one and take two cushions back to bulk. Tough part is there is potential of an in-off if she hits it just a bit too thick. But there's no real other safe red to hit off and come back to bulk that I can see kind of from our vantage point. Don't even know if she can see that red too, and if that blue gets in the way. So looks like it possibly does. Just a little bit of a containing safety here. Yeah, that was tough. There was real not get out of jail there, so this is opening the door for Bex. How will she make her opportunity of this, leading 24-0 in the second frame already?
spot there from Bex. Nicely on the pink. It's going to look at the respot of it and figure out which red will be easiest to get on the black maybe with. Looks like these two reds just below the pink spot are probably clustered. I don't know. Maybe one of them goes into the right middle pocket.
Yes. It's a nice shot. That was definitely tricky. You know, obviously she could hit a little bit lower and got some draw and maybe been a bit closer to some of these reds on the left side of the table, but that would have made the shot that much more difficult.
Oh, this red's gonna roll up. Ooh, just that extra few revolutions just took it all the way to the cushion.
As far as with this experience, I would think Marianne at least would walk over there, because when your object ball is tight, glued to the cushion, you know, there's the old philosophy of you hit your object ball and the cushion at the exact same time, and it will just slide right along that cushion, and it's when it goes right, one of the loveliest shots I think in the game. But when it goes wrong, you look like a fool.
Oh, looks like we're going to get Karin in to do frame 3. Get another player into the booth. That'll be nice.
Very nice shot there by Marianne.
Wow, yeah, excellent pot. Deceptively tough those shots are.
Mm-hmm. The philosophy is easy, the execution is difficult.
Yeah, we'll try to get Bex into the booth later. Maybe a post-match interview.
Ooh.
Oh, tough. Oh, this is a chance?
Wow, that was... Gave it all the run in the world there. Just let the safety cross that red on the right cushion. Trying to thin snick this. Come off 2 cushions to come back bulk. Off one of those 2 reds on the right side of the pink.
Oh.
Just too thin.
Yeah, didn't catch that exactly as she wanted.
Yeah. Unfortunately, cannon it in and develop that red for her opponent, not herself. Yeah, Marianne's got to know that she can't leave those easy opportunities for Bex. Because Bex will be salivating when she sees those and can get back to the table to make a hefty break.
It'd be nice to get on this red just below, or the bottom red of the bunch of 3 that we see between the black and pink. That way it's below it, can kind of naturally open up those 2 reds, and everything will then have a pocket to go into.
Not a bad shot there on the last one. Yeah, that red is on into the top right, but she just overrun it a little bit, but she does have second place with this other red to go into the middle.
Yeah. Can always come back for it. There's definitely a lot of reds to play for here. Just thinking for... Yeah, nice pot. A little bit short of pace. Obviously wanted to be on the bulk side of the blue.
pink looks really nice. I can kind of see from our
Oh, yeah.
commentating booth vantage point just a little stun, and there's a little angle there that she can just float to be that red in the open.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, perfect. Beautiful shot there. If the pink still spots up, I think this is ideal.
13.
Yeah, well done.
Run through a little bit to be on the black. If she goes too far, she's got the pink into the left middle.
Always so impressive, those shots, those 1.5 ball run-throughs. Oh, I like this. Left-handed. Let's go. Let's go. I'm a fan of the left-handed, sorry. Being a left-hander. Great pot there. This
Interesting.
black. Nice shot.
In the snowboarding world, if your left foot is forward, you're regular. If your right foot is forward, you're goofy.
Is that true?
So if left-handed snooker players, are they called goofy?
I don't know. You have to sell me on this one. That's it's a bit of a stretch to me, but I'm trying to think. I don't even know what side I would be. Would I be goofy also? I mean, I guess I don't really ever snowboard, so I'm not sure.
It's an interesting thing, obviously. In ice hockey, there are so many people that are predominantly right-handed, but they shoot left.
Mm.
Because are you right-handed, correct?
Yeah, everything right-handed
So-
besides billiards and cue sports is
29.
left-handed. The only thing. Came a little bit too far on this red, I think.
Yeah.
I'll play a safety here. Might be enough though. I think, what is it, 50 some odd point difference?
59 in it and 59 on the table, so
Okay, so exactly enough to tie, but might be a full ball snooker. No, there's an edge. Definitely a right edge of these reds, but very nice safety.
yeah, acknowledged by a little tap on the table by her opponent, Marianne McConnell. It is nice that all the reds are around the black. She can kind of keep it that way and get an opportunity. Marianne could do something. The only trouble ball for that big run out that would be an impressive break if she was able to make it. The brown is just an issue over there, but we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit. There's lots of reds still on the table, and Marianne needs to take all of those with blacks and then run all the colors. So definitely a tough feat out there, but anything is possible when you get on a snooker table. Like a long red here. Give it a go, but unfortunately, once again, she's left an easy starter here for Bex. So frame ball right here. This red goes in. Marianne is going to need about 3 snookers to get back into it.
Oh, that was the
Needs a
length.
kiss.
Just caught it a little bit too thin on that kiss. I think just the pace was a little bit farther than she wanted. Some blue into the yellow pocket, it looks like.
Gave it an opportunity, but Marianne is going to come back to the table. That brown's not a bad spot for snookers. Blue is phenomenal, but that's definitely tricky. But just having that brown ball just off the cushion gives a little bit larger of a landing area for a snooker for Marianne if she can pull it off. As we heard in our last match, she came in for a frame and had played snooker for 20 years before she even saw the smaller tables or played 8-ball or 9-ball. So, and that was coming. She's been around the game a lot longer than most of these women in the tournament, so she'll kind of know. Ooh, very nice long pot there by
Oh,
Bex.
the blue.
Is she going to knock the blue in?
Wow.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Fortunate that she's taken down a red off the table. Because now there is 43 on the table. And 55 in it.
Yeah, so still snookers required.
So 3 4-point snookers.
Put it back in, it looks like, right?
Mm-hmm. But going back to that, the history that Marianne has, she probably was around the game when there was a lot more safety, when people weren't making centuries a lot, that you would know to make a 20 break and then you run out of position and then go run back up to bulk and hide and give your opponent a few sleepless nights trying to think about how to combat that safety.
Oh, wow, managed to hit the second red.
Yeah.
I think she was intending to hit the first one, but still
If
counts.
at first you fail, try again and you'll succeed.
Yeah.
Is that the old thing?
Try again. I don't know. Something like that's how it goes. Yeah, great pot there.
Yeah, that probably will seal the deal here. I think Marianne's just going to reside in her chair and tough right after this blue, but maybe Bex can put a good break together. Just making sure that blue is of paramount for her.
6. The double attempt.
Back 6 on the front.
That's a concession there. So double doesn't drop, but Bex Kenna takes a 2-1 advantage. We'll see if Marianne McConnell can get the third frame to her advantage and force a tie. And then we'll have to find out what the tie-breaking procedure will be. But stay around. We'll be back in a few short moments for frame 3 action. We're just getting warmed up for frame 3 action to start. I'm joined by the great, talented, multi-talented Karen Lyson, right?
Karen.
Karen,
Yes,
sorry.
otherwise. Yeah. Karen.
Karen,
Lyson.
potato, right? Kind of thing?
You know.
Who knows?
It's better
So-
than Karen.
Yeah.
Just don't call me Karen, thank you.
Hey, my mother's name is Karen. You need to
Okay.
drop this thing about Karen. But I know you're Corinne, so that would be a mispronunciation. Not that we're dealing with these Karen people that we should say. So how are you coming along with the tournament?
Oh, well, about as I expected. I'm still a pretty new snooker player, so I'm learning. And I've lost all of my matches so far, which is fine. I'm here to learn, so that's what I'm doing.
Well, definitely I think, as they talk about it in football, the group of death when World Cup comes along. I think you were in that group. You're
think
going
so.
against Bex Kenner, who is definitely on the main tour and very highly ranked in the women's side.
Yep.
Going against Marianne McConnell as well.
Yep.
who has a long history in this game,
Yeah.
and co-tournament director Diana Schuler from Germany.
Yep.
So you really were up against it.
As I was describing my group to people, I was like, okay, here's Bex Kenna, and here's Diana Schuler, and here's Marianne McConnell, and hello, I'm a mop. Because they're gonna mop the floor with me, but very gently and in a very friendly way. So, I had a great time. Playing Bex was just it was just a pleasure. I got absolutely demolished, but it was fun and it was educational and super worth it. So, and I managed to get one frame against Diana. I'm very proud of myself for that. And like to think that if I actually practiced more, that I could play like that all the time.
It is, as I don't know if you were here for the Luca Bassell event.
I was not, no.
He did, as he's now famously said, he doesn't practice before the World Championship, but he did allude to in a Q&A when he was first starting, he was in the room for 12 hours a day just practicing religiously. So.
Yeah.
And it's nice that you've opened up your house as well. You're housing Marianne, correct?
Yeah, and she's a super sweetheart. She's amazing. Very talented snooker player and just a really all-around great person and very friendly, easy to hang out with.
Great.
Yeah.
And what do you do away from the snooker table?
I am a massage therapist. That's what I do for work. I also do various martial arts. At this point, mostly of the striking variety as opposed to grappling. So, and along with some lifting and whatnot.
Okay, well, I know there's a lot of bending down at the snooker table, so some people's backs might be sore. How do we get in touch with you if we wanted to hire services as a massage, I think?
So my website would be stonelakemassage.com, and I have offices in Mill Creek and Federal Way. I do sometimes do travel work as well, bring my table into your location, but I'd also charge extra for that. So.
Fair enough. And these locations, this Mill Creek and what was the second place?
Federal Way.
Whereabouts are they in conjunction with Seattle? Are they close by?
Mill Creek is about 30 to 45 minutes north, depending on where in Seattle you're starting, and then Federal Way is about equidistant south.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. Good to know.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Do you think Marianne can take one here from Bex?
I think she has the ability. I think she's knocking some dust off as far as playing competitively, because she's told me that she has been just playing recreationally in the senior center in her town, and but getting back into the truly competitive is taking a little bit of rehearsal, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a definitely night and day experience when you're just kind of playing a friendly with a friend or something like that, and
Absolutely.
then when it comes to a tournament,
Yep.
and then especially sometimes if you get on the TV table,
Yep.
that added pressure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think she can, but I think she's maybe is kind of struggling to get back to where she wants to be for a competitive tournament.
Have you been watching any of the other matches? Are you impressed by Anyi and Ming?
Oh boy, I haven't been watching directly, just sort of like as I'm walking around the club, but just watching them get down for a shot, it's like you very clearly know what you're doing. Everything about your demeanor says that you know exactly what's happening right now, and you are about to just make this shot very easily. Gosh, Anyi's, what was it, a 1-2-1 yesterday?
Correct, yes.
Oh, I'm so sad I missed that. I walked away for dinner and came back and was just like, oh, I missed something.
True, yes. We were on the TV table and it was just adjacent to us, so we could kind of see what was going on. But unfortunately, we had our TV table to deal with. So,
Right.
but
Yeah. And she was on the back table here by the door, or okay,
just the
other, okay.
table becks actually out there. They're called in this room. Tables have names, which is great, not numbers.
Yep. And they're named after people who have been significant visitors here or friends of Ox.
Or just admiration, I think.
Sure.
Table Alex, I don't know if Mike and the Ox crew have met him, unfortunately,
Oh,
because he
right.
did pass away a few years ago, but
Yeah.
definitely was probably the player that really brought snooker to the forefront. I'm not sure how versed you are in the history of the game.
Not very.
But he brought a different feel to it. Like most of the times it was, a bunch of old men at a serviceman's club pushing a ball around a table.
Right.
And he came in and brought some flair, took some wild shots on, some he made, some he didn't, so.
Yeah. But brought it out of the,
The doldrums.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good word for it. That's a very good word for it. Yeah.
Because now look where it is. Like, we think we're in America and we're talking about snooker.
Right. I never would have expected this a couple of years ago.
This club is fantastic. Were you at the opening for Bays?
No, I was
No.
not. No,
Okay.
I hadn't met Mike yet at that point. I was introduced to Mike by our mutual friend Tom, because I was talking pretty seriously about opening a meadery. I like to make mead.
Okay.
And he was talking about, oh, well, if you're going to make mead and have local mead, maybe I can sell it at my new, pool and snooker club. And I was like, well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. There's a lot that needs to happen between now and when you can sell my mead. But we got together and played some pool at Tom's house, and that was how he got to know me. And I was actually one of the first people he asked to train up for the World Women's Snooker, the last year's tournament.
Great.
And he asked me about, a year in advance-ish, because he knew my snooker skills, he knew my passion for, getting women into, the pool hall, and he was like, "You're perfect. This is what you should train for." And
Great.
I said, "Cool. I can do that." And for as long as I've been playing pool, snooker still makes me just feel like an idiot. It's a totally different game. It's so much harder, so much more precise. But snooker makes me way better at pool, so, can't complain about that.
Great. And what did you know what snooker was when you first heard someone said snooker to you? Did you know what they were alluding to? Because I think sometimes people in
I'm
Canada...
I'm familiar with the tables, or I was, like,
Okay.
before all the... I was familiar with what the tables were, that they were way bigger and all that. I had no idea how the game was played at all. Knew nothing about the rules. I knew nothing about... I even was just like, oh, the balls are a different size? What?
The table's bigger? The pockets are smaller?
No, I knew the table was bigger and the pockets were smaller. I just didn't know about the balls being a different size. It makes sense, obviously, but I had practiced with pool balls on a snooker table at some point, as sort of a precision practice. But I'd never actually played snooker on a snooker table.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's great to hear that you're getting more women into the room. That's kind of it. There might be an old stigma that seems like it's an old boys club or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's a precision game, so strength that, with men and women differ doesn't really come into play that much
Right.
about the game. Like,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, all it takes is a lot of practice, and the thing that's going to encourage women to practice is if they are welcomed and encouraged to just be here, and here at Ox, we definitely are. Can't always say that for other other locations, but
It is true, and as well doing this, getting it visually on the screens and stuff like that.
yeah.
Just remember famously hearing an interview last year with Rhiannon Evans, and she was amazed that a little girl was like, "Mommy, look, girls can play this. I always thought it was just referees.
Yeah.
So there's the inspiration there,
Yeah.
and we're just, both sexes, like men and women, just getting exposure in North America. As
Yep.
back in Canada, we did have a rich history of the game, kind of went like downhill a bit, so now we're kind of in a regrowth kind of feel,
Yeah.
whereas there's not a big history of snooker in America.
Not really, no. And most people you hear talking about it are people who served in World War II, or like the older generation, because they saw it when they were stationed in India, or that's where my grandpa learned to play snooker.
Really?
Yeah.
How old is your
India.
grandpa?
Oh, he's long gone now, but he was.
Was he around there in 1875?
Oh,
Because
God,
that's when
no.
old Neville Chamberlain created this lovely game. I was
No.
wondering, maybe your grandpa was heavily involved in this. That
Oh
would be
gosh,
interesting.
my grandfather would be very, very old if that was the case. No, he was stationed in India in, gosh, I think it was somewhere in the 1940s, maybe into the 50s, but
Okay.
it would have been very early 50s if it was 50s. So.
Got any pictures of him over there in India, maybe at a snooker room?
Oh gosh, no, I've never seen a picture of him playing snooker before. My aunt had a pool table in her basement, and that was the only time I ever saw him play any cue sports at all.
Okay.
And I wish we did have a picture of that, because that would be super cool.
Definitely in the birthplace of snooker like that. You can't go wrong with that. So.
Yeah.
hmm Looks kind of has a slim lead here. 19-16 in this third frame.
Yeah, Marianne had a good little run there. Catch up a bit.
Looks like she's going to come off the cushion and maybe just roll up to this red by the black.
Oh, beautiful.
So what do you think what's the toughest part of this game for you?
Oh gosh. I don't know if I can identify one individual thing, because I mean obviously potting balls is much harder on the bigger table with the smaller pockets, and it requires a lot more precision in that way, but deciding what to shoot is still difficult. Because of my history with 9-ball, it's a little bit easier, because I can be like, okay, I know that I have to shoot this thing next, I have to shoot this thing next, but shot choices are a little different when the next ball you have to shoot is, you have a choice of 6 different balls on the table, but then you have to go back to this other particular type of ball, and it's very different decision making wise. And gosh, I have really struggled with landing my snookers, like putting the cue ball control.
Yeah.
I've had a hard time with that, because of course the felt is a different speed and a different, with the direction of the bays, you have to worry about that. And I've been using a lot more of my my side spin today than I have previously in the tournament, and it just doesn't take like it does on pool tables. So there's pretty much the whole thing is just hard.
Yeah. So I guess as long as there's snooker in the world, there still will be therapists working.
Yes. Yep. Well, you get that nice twisty thing going on when you're leaning down, and certain muscles are getting stretched and certain muscles are getting shortened, and so to all the snooker players out there, make sure that when you're stretching, you stretch the opposite direction of your normal twist.
Oh,
That'll
good to
help
know.
stretch out all the muscles that need stretching.
Interesting. We have a lot of Brits turning it, and they're fascinated by baseball.
Really? Okay.
Because cricket is a popular game over there.
Yeah. I've seen a bunch of cricket. I still don't understand it.
I don't understand it either. I'm trying to learn a little bit, but
Yeah.
how can you knock a game where you break for tea?
Of course. So what do you know? What they find fascinating about baseball? What's the?
I'm not sure if I know Ash Kenna, the president of the Bex Kenna fan club,
Sure.
has been mentioned that he's missing the baseball, and we just have Yan Hughes, who's enjoying baseball, and I know Jamie Hunter and her partner, they went to the baseball game last night.
Yep. They went the first night that they were here too, or
Wow.
no, not the first night, but
Last year?
no, it may have been the first night or second night, but they've been to 2 games now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think something maybe about it is like baseball is very American.
It's
It's
Yeah.
the pastime of America, so maybe they're like, oh, I want to see some of the culture. What is this baseball thing all about?
Yeah.
Interesting because it's kind of, snooker's a defensive thing, and in baseball, the defense puts the ball into play.
Yeah. I suppose you can look at it that way. It's not. I mean, batting is the offense.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that.
But it doesn't start like the pitcher's got to initiate, and he's part of the defense.
Right. Yeah,
Like,
technically, the pitcher is defense.
and
It-
nothing starts until he or she throws it towards the batter.
Sure. Yeah. And the really what makes baseball interesting is when you can understand the interplay between the pitcher and the batter.
Mhm.
Like if you don't understand that, it's boring. You're just sitting there watching a guy throw a ball. And every once in a while have it hit into the field. Like it's just not that interesting. But if you understand what the pitcher is doing, what they're trying to do, how they're trying to fool the batter, how the batter gets, tries to predict what the pitcher's going to do, all that kind of stuff, it makes it so much more interesting.
True. Kind of on the lines of snooker. Some
Sure.
people, new viewers, could tune in and be like, there's these pockets. Why aren't they putting a ball in the pocket? Isn't that the point of the game?
Right.
Sure, that's an avenue of the game, but if you really dig into it and get into the game, you can see a tactical safety battle is just as
Yep.
important
Yep.
as potting balls.
The name of the game is snooker, so
Mhm.
you don't have to pot a majority of the balls to win a frame, and I know that from personal experience. Last year, when I won the Challenge Cup, my last frame, we were playing with only 6 red balls on the table, so I don't know exactly how many points that is available, but it's somewhere in the 60s. It's,
67.
67, okay.
Mhm.
And by the end of the frame, I had 77 points. And I
Okay.
brought the paper back over to Matt, and he looked at me, he's like, it's impressive. Considering there aren't that many points available on the table. And I
True.
said, well, I got her on some really good snookers, and one of them involved the black ball, so I got like 21 points off of that one. So, yeah, it was fun. It was very interesting, and it's like I know that I did not make a majority of the balls on that table. I made
Mhm.
most of my points just through snookers.
Okay.
So,
There you go.
and that is another big difference between snooker and pool. You can make points by
Mhm.
hiding the cue ball.
It's true, yeah, because pretty much in pool you have to pocket your balls. You can get position, I guess, in fouls,
Sure.
correct?
And if somebody fouls, in a lot of rule sets, you end up getting ball in hand, which is very powerful. So it's still a good idea to play defenses, but the point of the defense is to get ball in hand.
Yes.
You're not getting any points directly from it. You still have to make a ball.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever play the shootout?
No.
Snooker shootout. That's a rule in that game. When there is a foul, the player gets ball in hand.
Okay.
But those also are 10-minute frames. You're on a shot clock. 15 seconds for the first 10 minutes to 5 minutes, and then 5 minutes to 0. It's a 10-second shot clock.
My goodness. Okay, that is a type of snooker I've never heard of before.
They do have one event, and I think it's really helpful in the growth because you still have a lot of the same snooker rules. It's just
Yeah.
heightened and it's a bit quick. Obviously, some people think that there is this myth that people's attention spans are getting smaller and smaller.
Shorter. Yeah.
So it does kind of help those kind of people.
Sure.
Maybe
sure.
we can hook them in that way, and they'll be like, "Oh, this is kind of cool," and then they see traditional, and then they really see what drama can happen on a snooker
Oh
table.
yeah. Oh yeah. Because when the drama happens, you're not going fast. But I imagine that would be very interesting to watch, especially with some good players getting in there. Like if you have good shot makers, I imagine that would be a very fun version of snooker to watch.
It is interesting because sometimes you think 10 seconds, wow, that's quick.
Yeah.
But in fact, sometimes when you're out there, it's not actually that. Oh, great shot there by Bex,
that
but
was very nice.
I think that was a fluke. She put up her hand to apologize. But sometimes you see some players, they work that 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Because if they have a bit of a lead getting close to that zero buzzer,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, I know it takes me a couple of seconds to take this shot, but I'll run down my shot clock a little bit and the game
Right.
clock.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we are kind of getting down to it here, and they are still. It's anybody's frame.
Yeah, 3 points in it, and we've got 59 on the table. Well, the balls are wanting to run to the bulk end. Just an update. We do have Mink on our Bex table. She's playing Louise Forster, all the way from Scotland. We had actually dinner with Louise last night, just a real hoot. Has a lot of great stories and real fun attitude, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So it was really nice. But, Mink is up in that first frame, 45-1. So we'll keep an eye on that one. You can get all the scores and updates on snookerscores.net. Not a great shot by Marianne. I know she'd like to have that one back.
Yeah.
It was just as you probably have found out with these higher ranked players, you really just can't give them an easy starter.
No, you can't, because at that point they're just gonna play. If you give them an easy shot, they're just gonna be able to put the cue ball where they want it and get a good run going. My match with her, with Bex yesterday, she got I believe a 48 break against me, and it was just fun to watch. It was just literally everything that she did was exactly what she wanted to do, and it's like the cue ball just obeyed her orders. And I was just like, I don't know how to I'm doing my best to give you hard shots and only succeeding sometimes.
Yeah, it's interesting how our mind can change as an opponent when we're sitting in the chair. We're just going miss, 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 and then a nice break comes on, and then we're their first cheerleader.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to approach snooker tournaments with the mindset of, I know I'm going to lose, but that's okay, because I'm going to A, learn a lot, and B, I have the best seat in the house.
True.
I get to watch them do cool things.
Yeah. But let's make it different for next year. You're here to win. Win. The winning attitude goes in there.
Well, I guess I'm here to win the Challengers Cup. Defending champion, after all.
There you go. That was a tough shot. These side pockets are tight from those angles.
I will say, snooker has made me a lot less afraid of the side pockets, because they're easier than the corner pockets from most angles. Oof.
True, they're definitely a lot more closed off on a pool table, right? They kind of come out straightly where
Yeah, they got
snooker
a
tables-
point on them instead of the rounded edge.
Mm-hmm. Bex might just have a thin cut on this one and come off the ball cushion, come down, but maybe she's taking it on.
Ooh.
Going for it.
Well, it turned out all right for him.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if Marianne can do something with this. Get a good snooker. If there is one, I'm having a hard time seeing what it would be. But
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering, what do you play from this vantage point?
oh gosh, I don't know.
I just waved the white flag.
Honestly, I would probably try to hit that red ball real thin and bring the cue ball all the way back down to the foot of the table. Similar to what she did. She probably did it a little bit more successfully than I would have.
There might be a path she can get by. One problem is she might be canning into some another red. Oh, she was able to miss that red. She get the cover with the pink.
Ooh.
Yeah, 51 on the table and only 4 points in this third frame, so definitely an important one for Mary. If she can take this one, that puts these two in a tie for top spot in your group.
Oh, really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And look at that shape.
She's got a... this pink might be straight in. She could have done with
It's
it.
going to make it hard to get the cue ball anywhere good for the red balls. Oh, but look at that.
Yeah, I find sometimes when you're playing and you're on a color and obviously the reds are in no position, it would be take a miracle shot to get on them.
Uh-huh.
That's kind of a nice feeling because then you can really just focus on that color. Just like I'm going to get those points and I can stay at the table and then I'm going to like maybe clip off a red and give my opponent a few nightmares.
Right.
Thank you. I'm just hearing in that first frame that Mink is playing. She had a 72 break. So often in these, amateur tournaments, obviously this is a close to professional, but it is, as the Matt Hewitt has said, the women's tour is a stepping stone to the main tour. But a lot of these matches come down to the color balls.
Yeah.
I feel like almost that's a good mantra to have. Just get me to the colors, get me a chance.
Now, I will say, when I was practicing with Marianne on Thursday night, the moment we got to the color balls, she would just come right alive.
Yeah.
And, if we were close before that, she would get it all.
Well, there's that big practice exercise that everyone does, put all the color balls on the spot and run out.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like a drill I should start running.
Very nice.
Nice
Good.
long pot.
Good shape on the brown to get on the yellow after it.
There you go.
I think you were just talking about this. You know, now we're on the colors, and is this the time for Mary O'Connell to shine? Black's in a tough spot, but she doesn't need it. If she can take yellow, green, brown, blue, and pink,
Yeah.
it's gonna be tricky going yellow to green and then green to brown.
Yeah, she's got enough angle to get to the green ball, but depending on where she leaves it. That is going to be a tough leave to get.
Just asking the referee to clean the cue ball. Not a bad idea. Sometimes the cue ball can be spotless, but just get it clean just to give yourself
Sure.
a little bit of a break, just to recalibrate. And I don't think I've ever seen a referee refuse a player to clean a
Clean
cue
his
ball
ball,
unless he cleaned it right there and she came to the table and said, "Can you clean it again?"
Right.
Be like, "I just cleaned it, so
Yeah.
what games are you playing here?"
Right. Oof. Yeah, this is really coming down to the wire.
Yeah, just 1 point in it, 25 on the table. However, this is definitely a makeable green for Beck's mid to long pot, but I think the angle is there to naturally get up onto the brown.
Oh, she's going for the snooker. That was beautiful.
And the fans here at Ox appreciative. A little round of applause. If you are in the Seattle area, it's free admission here for this great tournament. Obviously, tomorrow is Championship Sunday, but moving day here on Saturday where we finish off the group stage and the knockout round will happen. So 1432, that's 1432 Broadway Street, Ox Billiards. We do have a sandwich board out there on the street. It's kind of a tricky spot to find
It is a bit,
sometimes. It's
yeah.
not, they don't have the bright neon light saying enter here, but once you know it, you know it.
Uh-huh. Yep. Feels a bit like a speakeasy as you're walking in.
Yeah, you're kind of walking through some hallways, not sure where you're going, and then boom, you open up to a
Yep,
beautiful
yeah.
place.
But they got lots of good signage today to make sure that everybody's going the right direction. So.
That's true. Great
Very
pictures.
good hit. Okay.
Yeah, good contact, but that's the
Yeah,
thing when
that's the hard part. Yeah.
when you see the more, higher ranked players, us
Yeah.
that are, well,
No.
I'm not even on a ranking list, but we're just happy sometimes to get out of a snooker and hit our object ball
Yeah.
where they're planning to hit the object ball and not leave it.
Leave it hard, yeah. No, she's got a... Went a little far.
Be right to the top left corner.
Oh, yeah, she's lining up for that blue ball. That's...
Good shot of what she needs to do there.
Yep. She looks a little disappointed with what she did there.
Yeah, she's really gonna have to. Yeah, I don't think she's gonna go around just putting that more pace risks the shot, makes it that much more difficult. And so just probably wanting to just slowly roll into this and have a mid to shot onto the pink. But because she does need the pink. It's a 6-point difference right now. The blue goes down. That'll be 11-point difference with 13 on the table. So some important shots coming up here for Bex if she wants to have the whitewash. Now this can be tricky because this is when nerves come into play. You gotta just take a few extra breaths for a 3-0 match win.
Oh.
She's gonna get fortunate enough with the black. The pink's gone safe. I think Marianne can still see it, but Marianne might have an angle to just clip off the top side of this pink and get behind the black.
Oh. Oh, just a tiny bit too far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I bet you if Marianne really dug down and got some really good practice beforehand, I'm pretty sure that would be behind the black. I think she's just kind of happy to be back, and talking to her yesterday, she's like, I can't believe I'm doing so well. Like, she did not expect to be doing this great in the tournament.
That was very well played.
Good and safe. Black is a little bit of a pain for a right-hander. She's kind of got to put her bridge hand around it and just, it's a thin cut into the side pocket. If it's there, she's got the 3-0 win. Marianne has a thin cut. Does she do the cut back double? Or does maybe she clip off the pink and try and get behind the black? So many decisions.
I know, there's so many options. We won't know until she does it.
You gotta commit to one. Can't be thinking of 2 shots when you're down on the shot.
Oh. Well, we got another long pot if she wants to go for it, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
That's the nice thing in traditional snooker. There's no shot clock. We were talking about the shootout before, but in regular traditional snooker, you can take all the time in your world. You don't want to take too long, because... Wow, very nice.
Wow.
You can get penalized for time wasting. I don't know if many snooker players do know that, but if a referee feels like you were deliberately wasting time, they will award the frame to your opponent, not just a 4-point foul. It's a frame. So
Okay, good to know.
here's Marianne McConnell for black to take a frame, force a tiebreaker in the lead.
Oh.
Kind of push that out a little bit. I think Bex is going to need the rest. How's everyone's fingernails out there?
Digging into my palms. Talk about nerves. This is it's for
Yeah, it's very interesting. If you watch Stephen Henry's Q-Tips, the latest one with Michael Holt, and he was very interested. It's like, we all know we can play the game, but it's amazing how some of them can play the game, and then under the conditions of, say, a world championship, when they just know everyone is watching.
Yep.
And it's just something you have to block out. So,
Yep.
great pictures here. Let's see if Bex can put this in for the whitewash. She's kind of going through a bunch of equipment. Where she had the mini butt, now she's got the rest. Just want to be perfectly comfortable. It's there. What a shot.
What a beautiful shot.
So that's going to
That
secure.
was quite the nail biter.
Definitely a good final match to wrap up our round robin TV broadcast, but we definitely will be coming back probably around. We're going to actually jump over for some bonus coverage of Mink Nutcharat against Louise Foster. We'll tune into that frame there in the second frame. Mink is up 43-8 and currently on a 23 break. And let's head over there. But we'll just take a little break as our great cameraman Christian Youngers needs to just set it all up. Karin, are you going to stick around or? Oh, okay.
Do we have somebody else coming
we
in?
do have Jamie Hunter to talk about her tournament experience, but we appreciate
Alrighty.
you being in the
Excellent.
booth. Where do they find you again for a massage?
That would be stonelakemassage.com.
Sounds wonderful. Look forward to my call. I might be calling you soon.
Excellent. Thank you so much, David.
Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Take care. And welcome back, everyone. We've got a little bit of bonus coverage here in our round-robin matches. We've got Mink Nutcharat taking on Scotland's own Louise Foster. Mink had a 75 break earlier on in this match, and she has 2 frames to the good. She's already in her last 2 matches, won them 3-0, so she's definitely assuring her way into the round-robin. We'll see if she can go there on a clean sheet. And I'm joined in the studio with the player that has a mark on her back because everyone's shooting for the defending champion, Jamie Hunter. How you doing, Jamie?
I'm good, thank you.
Sounds good. So how's your tournament going so far?
The results are coming, but the gameplay isn't.
Hey, sometimes, you have to win dirty.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's probably why Selby's so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't complain if you're not playing well and the results are coming.
Mm-hmm. And how are the conditions playing out there on the tables?
I love it here, so don't ask me, I'm biased.
Okay. Well, there's no problem to having biased. Yeah. I heard that you're putting your application in for a green card. Is that correct? To move to America?
Should we talk about this on the internet, just in case?
They might be listening. Who knows? No, I said all in kind and gesture, talking to you off camera, that you really enjoy your time when you come over here. It's always a great event that you like to participate in. Obviously, you did win the inaugural event last year, but you've always said you'll come back many, many years.
Yeah, I don't think it's just we love the club, we love the owners, it's the people and the place.
Great.
You walk out the door of Ox and you feel like you're at home.
Okay. And your partner Freddie is a big baseball fan.
Massive baseball fan, which
So-
consists of us going to like 5 baseball games every time we can.
So what is it? We've had some Brits tuning in and they enjoy the baseball. Do you know what it is about baseball that really? 'Cause you guys have cricket over there.
Baseball's better than cricket. Cricket's
Yeah.
absolutely terrible. But I don't know. I'm a football fan,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't like the Seahawks, so that's not an option.
Okay. Okay, so we're talking American football because I believe you started in football, right? And then you had an injury,
Mm-hmm.
and you still had that competitive spirit in you, but you didn't know where to go, and then eventually you found the game of snooker.
Yeah, so I've played international tournaments. I won like maybe 3-4. I think the team I played for, we won the league every year for like 6 years, something like that. We represented England playing internationally. And then I tore all the ligaments in my ankle and I couldn't walk for months.
Mm-hmm.
And because I played football like 5-6 times a week, I needed something to do. And there was a snooker club 5 minutes from my house.
Okay, great.
And that was it. Here we are.
Mm-hmm. Here we are. It's Jamie Hunter in the booth here with David Burney. If you do have any questions for the defending champion, we'll try and see if we can get her to answer any of them. So what's your game plan here, Jamie? If you're in Mink's shoes right now, you've got a 25-0 lead. You're at the table. You've got 2 frames to the good.
I think if I just played that shot on the yellow and cannoned into them reds and wasn't on anything, I would definitely be pulling a stupid face. Maybe dragging my feet on the floor, being like, oh, never goes my way.
There's one nice thing about being in the room. I'm always happy that the great family here at Ox can bring me down to do commentating. As much as we are slowly getting the technology where you can do remote commentary, it's nice to be in the room because you do see those subtleties. If you're remote, you only see what the camera's seeing, but I can take a look and I see when you're doing your little jig there when you're either happy or upset.
I'm terrible for it. There's teeth marks halfway down my cue.
And do you play a blanc with these two players, with Mink and Louise?
I've never actually played Louise. I have practiced with Mink a few times and I've played against her in tournaments. She's a trailblazer, really,
Yeah.
if you think about it. And she's teeny tiny.
She's very nice and sweet, but very determined when she's on the table.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Technique and her confidence is unmatched, really. I think because she plays at the high end in Bangkok. You know, there's a lot of pro players who play out of there, and there's always a lot of professionals there because the club's so nice. So she's always had good competition.
Yeah, because doesn't Nepon Singha
Yeah, Sangam comes from
Tepchai?
Tepchai plays out of there as well. Even when we were there, playing our World Championships in March, you know, Jimmy White, Hossan Vafai, Ken Doherty, you know, pros were just turning up.
James Watner? He's a ex-Thai
I think
player.
he's from there as well.
Yeah, he's a Thai player.
So there's just pro players coming in and out all the time, so she's always got competition. Now she's got on the pro circuit. She's, I believe she's living in Sheffield, playing out of Victoria's Academy.
Okay.
So she's got a lot of, like, the Chinese professionals around her. So, you know, she's always playing, like, really good players. So I think she goes about the game the right way, where every frame she plays, whether it be practice or competitive, she treats it like it's the most important frame. But I think, like, especially playing in this game now, you've got to have, like, a bit of arrogance when you're playing snooker. You've got to know, like, I am better than this other person, because it can kind of, like, loosen your arm up, and
Yeah.
you can, like, do the talking. You don't have to put so much pressure on yourself, because obviously I think the hardest part about snooker is the mental game, because it's just you out there. It's not like, you know, football, soccer, where, you know, you've got a team around you, and if you make a mistake, someone can cover you up or bail you out. You're just out there on your own.
And there's so many different ways about technique, training videos, and you can get your technique down. But yeah, as you say, what's going on between the ears really counts.
Oh, I mean, even back home where I live, there's, you know, some players who've got all the talent in the world. You put them on a practice table and they're absolutely brilliant. Put them in a match where it means something, and they just can't do it. I played boys football as a teenager, and I transitioned at 21. But the question where you say what age did I realise, the answer would be 7. But how do you do something when you're a child?
True. So is this an opportunity here that you relish, Jamie? Like, it looks like there's a fair amount of open reds. A few high-collared, the blue and black are on their spots.
Yeah, I think that's quite surprising. But I think when you're looking at the table from how it is now, you want to move the red that's closest to the black to free the black out, and then you want to get the pink out of the way, and then after that, they're the main things that you would focus on once you get in here.
And then how do you find it, let's go back to the mental side, where you come to the table, you've got a nice easy starter, and you can see that next color, and then even the red and another color after that. How do you come just not getting ahead of yourself? How do you kind of center yourself to be like, I got to take this first shot at hand?
I think that's why if you watch all the best players, every shot they play, they always do the same thing before. The pre-shot routine is the same no matter what shot they're playing. Because if you're chopping and changing, that's when you start getting in your own head. But if you're doing the same thing all the time, you just have to go back to your roots, back to your basics. I line the shot up like this. I do 3 feathers. I pull the cue back and deliver. No matter how hard the shot is, no matter how easy it is. If you're always doing that, it kind of grounds you, takes you out of the whole scenario and just puts you straight there on the shot, nothing else.
Well said. Laura, I think they are doing their best to get the women's tour going. It's just tough. It comes down to dollars and cents, right? Would you say, Jamie? We just get to see a little bit of you guys once a year, but you're playing all the events.
Yeah, I think the discussion around not having the mixed tour and then making the women's tour better it's a lot difficult, because when you look at sports, the size of it is based off of sponsorship, where the money's coming in. Women's snooker, for example, just doesn't have. You look at the the Lionesses, the English women's soccer team.
Okay.
They've just won the Europeans, and now women's snooker is blowing up. They're getting more sponsors in. Sky Sports won it. BBC won it. ITV won it. But they had to win one of the biggest tournaments in the world for them to actually think, oh, we should put some money into this. Women's snooker, we're still waiting for that big chunk of change to come in and to propel it. But the women's tour is, it's open to everyone. It's more of a development tour rather than being a pro tour. But obviously, it's just based off of cost.
Yeah.
I've spent a lot of money to get here, and every other place that I've been around the world. But the prize money on the mixed tour is the World Championship. It comes from the TV sponsors, mainly off streaming. So you've got Discovery, Matchroom, then it ends up on the BBC or ITV. It's all the TV contracts that bring in all the money, but you need to have the exposure and the things that these TV companies want for them to then buy into your brand to then grow it. And obviously women's snooker is still relatively young in its exposure to the world, but it is getting there. I mean, even just the 2 years that I've been here, the difference to today from the first tournament I turned up to 2 years ago was exponential.
Great.
So it's only a matter of time. But I do think that they're never probably going to fully split 2 pro tours between men and women, purely just based off of funding.
True, because I guess because in golf they have the separate male and female, and even they struggle. I think the top male on a golf event might get the purse might be in the millions, whereas the women's is in the 100,000s.
Yeah, but if you've got 50 million people watching the males, and you've only got 1 million watching the females, that's exactly it. It's based off of viewership, mainly TV contracts.
Yeah. And would you think that that mixed doubles event that happened last year. Do you think that's going to help as well get a
Yeah, I
good
think
profile for the
that's a
women?
good like stepping stone in the right direction. You know, there's obviously the whole case of if you put the 4 best male players with the 4 best female players, them four like Mark Selby's, your Ronnie's, Judd, Neil Robertson, they're like out of this world good at snooker. Like it's not just like the man versus woman debate. That's just the absolute best, who are just miles ahead of anybody else in the world. They're like a different breed. But putting them with us, obviously it does show the gap. But then you've got a sense of it's the percentage of how many people are actually playing. So the amount of women playing snooker in the world, I think, is in the hundreds, where the amount of men playing in the world is in the millions. So if you take the best 0.1% of men from the pool and the top 0.1% of women, you've got a smaller pool, so the talent's not going to be as high. So it's just going to take time.
Yep. So tennis once famously did it a battle of the sexes. Do you think that could happen in snooker?
Maybe. But obviously then that's the physical sport and non-physical sport, then that opens up like a whole new debate between the two.
That is true, yeah. Tennis is definitely a little bit more physical than the game of snooker.
Yeah, I think all we like. So you look at Bayulu, who came to our World Championships, which was her first ever event. No one knew who she was. You know, she's I think she's like 19. She turns up as a little kid to this tournament, and she makes the highest break ever made at a World Championships ever, and then gets to the final. And she was a no-one 10 minutes, like 2 days before. So I think there's going to be someone somewhere, like a female on this planet somewhere, that is as good or if not better. It's just you've got to find them, which is why all our events are now moving all the way around the world.
Well, it's
to try and find them.
a world group. It's the world's women's snooker. It's not the Britain women's snooker tour.
I mean, they're out there somewhere. Even like men's snooker, if you only go back like 50 years to say when like Davis first started dominating, you know, he was just like walking around pubs, like asking other people to play him. There was no like tour or anything like that. So that's come a long way in that amount of time. So you've got to give us 50 years as well.
Yep.
And then maybe we might be there, maybe you know.
Yeah, it's interesting back in, as you say, that Davis era, and even before him, there wasn't a lot of tournaments, so they'd have to do the exhibitions. Where now players don't really have to do the exhibitions. There's so many tours, so many opportunities to make that living.
Yeah, exactly. But I think people look at it from like a today perspective, where 50 years ago the mixed tour never existed. So people like Steve Davis were going around pubs doing exhibitions to make money, and then like they might have had like 2 or 3 tournaments a year. Then when someone finally picked it up and the agents got involved and they started getting it on the telly, and you know, back in the black and white days. But then it's obviously grew and grew and grew, and it's come somewhere. But when that was happening, and like what was the men's tour started growing, women weren't allowed in snooker clubs.
I have heard this, yes.
Because they were men-only places. So how people can expect us to have the same growth when the growth started, ours was still trapped.
Well said, yeah.
So you just got to give it time.
Yeah, I remember hearing someone had asked Cliff Thorburn, one of the greatest Canadian players, 1980 world champion, like, do you think that there is going to be another, Canadian player on the tour? And he's like, it's possible, but I don't even think they've picked up the cue yet. You don't know when it's going to happen, but they're probably out there. And I think now that with the internet we can give more exposure. Like, these streaming sites are fantastic because that's how people are going to see it. Like, when
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
tell people, like, I'm going to commentate on snooker, they're like, what is that? Dirty party trick? Or
Yeah,
what
you should.
was this weird game you're up to? Or?
That was the the customs man to me when he was like, "What's in that bag?" And I'm like, "A snooker cue." And he's like, "What's a snooker cue?" Should I be worried? I'm like, "No."
That's true. I think we had some fellow Canadians come down for the Lupa Pacell event, and they had their snooker cues, and border guards were like, "What are these all about, boys?" Because they thought they might be rifle cues.
Yeah.
Or rifle cases, I mean, not rifle cues.
I think I'm pretty sure, even within maybe the last 15 years, Beck's had an issue
Mhm.
with not being allowed in a club.
Wow.
So it was still in the 21st century. And so I don't think
Yeah.
people realise how...
You think that we're so progressive now, but we're still miles behind.
Yeah, but obviously it shows how young women's snooker is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to start somewhere.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Apollo 1 didn't get to the moon. It went up in flames. They finally got there on Apollo 11. So.
Oh, don't say that, because did they actually get there or not?
Oh, is Jamie one of those people?
Oh, not me.
If I open the
Not
can of
me.
worms. This one.
So, to answer your question, Laura, coping with the press, I wouldn't say having press is difficult. I think it was more the barrage of hate that came my way after it. More so, just getting called up by newspapers and being asked questions and everything. Someone once said to me, all publicity is good publicity. I don't particularly know how true that is, but I think it was more the personal attacks more than anything. If people want to open up the debate about trans people in sport, then let's debate about it, let's have a discussion about it, let's sit down and talk about it like adults. But when people change it to personal, I think that was what was most difficult of it last time. And playing events where people are there who are openly out in disagreement of my participation, I wouldn't say it's difficult in a sense, because there's certain ways to go. If someone says, look, I've read up on it, I disagree that Jamie should be playing, then that's okay. But then they see me in the club and they catch eye contact with me, they'll say like good morning or hello, how are you, whatever. Mm-hmm. Where it's a bit different when they treat me like I'm not a human being.
Mm-hmm.
That's more the difference. People are allowed their opinions. You won't walk in a pub and find out someone supports Man United and then not talk to them just because of it. So I think it just depends on the way people go about it.
True.
Not everyone's going to agree on everything, and then I think the people are just going about it the wrong way. Like, the fact that I'm playing isn't my fault. There's rules in place by the organisers, and I have to meet the rules. There's paperwork that shows that I meet the rules. If there's a problem, they should speak to the organisers who make the rules, not me that's following the rules.
That's true. Good point there.
So obviously it just depends. I think that's why we like coming to Seattle so much, because everybody's so nice.
We're all so nice in Canada.
Get a tournament there, and I'll be there.
Done deal. We're working on it. We'll see what we're doing. I have been talking with Matt and Diana a lot about that, and hopefully in the future we could get a little kind of mini tour, I guess. A stop here in Seattle and then a stop in Vancouver, and all you great players can come over and kind of work it as a working vacation where you can see two great cities, two great countries, all in one swoop.
Can we not just do like all of Canada, and I can just like stay off work for like 6 months? Well, we just drive along.
Well, looks like Mink is going to move into the knockout round without a blemish on her score sheet. When we do get to the knockout, it will be single elimination, Simon. Mink finish it off with a bang and put this black in.
Oh, she should stick to her right hand.
Yes, everybody happy to see Mink. So that's going to conclude our television broadcast of the round robin, but we're looking to probably come back in about half an hour or so, we're thinking, but definitely subscribe to this channel so you can get updated of when we do come back on board for the quarterfinal matches. Champ, we're wishing you the best of luck in the knockout round. Hopefully you can hoist that trophy again, and also definitely respect your courage and bravery in all you do, and you're always welcome in the booth. Thanks again, Jamie Hunter. Have a good one.